Gate City Bank Field of the Fargo Dome, the home of the Bison, as we get set for the 2021 season opener. Look at our Williston Auto players to watch. Jared Verse was the CAA Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, Sean. 4 sacks for the Great Danes over the spring.
I watched a lot of film on this guy. He can move. He's rangy. He's got a huge frame. He's instinctual. He's going to be tough for us to stop on the run. We're going to have to go right at him.
Dominic Ganella is the standout running back. After a freshman campaign, he led the team with rushing yards at 495. The Bison won the toss and elected to defer. They are wearing 1965 throwback uniforms. And here we go with 2021. The opening kickoff from Shanley's Jake Reinholtz goes into the end zone for a touchback. And the Albany offense will go to work at the 25-yard line. Let's introduce you to the starting lineups here for Albany, brought to you by Shields. Up front with Crit Johnson as their left tackle, Thomas at center, and Will Marotta at the outside tackle at right tackle. The backs and receivers, you'll get to know Jeff Undercuffler quite well. The Jerry Rice runner-up in 2019. Carl Morford is an outstanding running back. Greeny, Oda Coven, and watch out for Mike Gray on the outside for the Danes, who played 4 games during the spring, shut it down because of injuries after that. Undercuffler will go in the handoff to Mulfor, and not much there on first down.
Got some good noise in the dome here. They haven't played in front of a crowd in quite a while. Dom, we'll see what kind of impact that makes.
Let's introduce you to the Bison defense, brought to you by Shields. Pierce, Tucker, Ching, and Thomas all back from last season. The linebackers played nearly every down last year. Kaiser, Hankey is up for the Butkus Award, and Jasir Cox in the middle. On the backside, Courtney Eubanks will make his first start after a standout turn as a freshman. Weber, Tutsi, and Price. No gain in the play. It'll make it 2nd down and 10. Undercuffler will throw for the first time to Oda Coven, who gets a block on the outside, where he's hauled down by Weber. Got out to about the 28-yard line, 29-yard line, and a gain of 4.
Nice leverage on the outside on that one. Eubanks is a guy we're going to have to really watch. He won that position over the fall, and I think he looks legit to me, but I think we're going to see a lot of teams trying to pick on him, so we'll see how it turns out. Started
at the end of the spring campaign, the 2 playoff games against Eastern Washington and Sam Houston. Here's a 3rd down and 6. The Bison fans make it known. Good crowd here on this Labor Day weekend. First time the Dome being fully open since December of 2019. We've got penalty flags here right before the snap.
Got some movement. There's that crowd.
Looks like they got a timeout called actually here, Freddie, by Albany.
Prior to the play clock expiring, timeout Albany. It's their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Dom, a couple of guys on their staff have coached in here before. I think they've probably prepared for the crowd noise, but you can't prepare just with speakers in practice. Yeah. It's something to behold when you come in here for the first time.
Greg Gattuso, Albany's 8th-year head coach, told me they're going to try and prepare as best they can. The speakers there were probably going to be a problem. Timeout here on the field. 13:40 remaining, opening quarter. We're scoreless at the Dome. Back here for a 3rd down and 6 play after the timeout. Undercuffler goes over the middle. That one hauled in by Gray, but he's going to be short of the first down as he gets out to about the 33-yard line, and the Bison defense with a 3-and-out.
Undercuffler is really a rhythm guy, Dom. I've seen a lot of film on the guy. He will pick you apart if you let him get into a rhythm. But if you knock him out early, I've seen him struggle.
So the Bison defense starts with a 3-and-out. Sean Rawls is the punter for Albany. Jaden Price is back deep for the Bison. He returned an 85-yarder for a touchdown against Illinois State last March. Big-time hit as he's drilled. Joe Casal comes in there and blows it up for the Danes. And the Bison will start right at the 25-yard line.
A little overly enthusiastic to start the season there, Tom. Maybe wanted to call a fair catch, but
Let's introduce you to the Bison starting lineup, brought to you by Shields. The offensive line is monstrous with Mauk at left tackle, Jensen back for his third year starting, Sundell his second, Kuvis right at Dickinson, North Dakota, and Cordell Volson, one of the team captains. Quarterback is Quincy Patterson. We'll talk plenty about him with Hunter Lipke, Dom Ganella, the running back, Noah Gindorf, the monster tight end, with Watson and Phoenix Sproles back at wide receiver, playing his first game since October of 2020. After he was hurt in the Central Arkansas game with a knee injury, he did not play during the spring campaign.
Nice to have him back in here with Quincy starting his first game. I think he's going to be a nice safety net for Quincy in difficult situations.
So here it is, the transfer from Virginia Tech. Quincy Patterson won the starting quarterback job in fall camp, beating out Cam Miller, who was the incumbent. Miller started the final two games of the spring season. Ganella will get the first carry of the year, dragging guys with him as he gets out to the 30-yard line, and a gain of 5 on first down for the still freshman running back. Looks like Mauk lost his helmet, so he'll have to leave. Let's introduce you to the Great Dane defense. First, we talked about Walker and Foster are pretty big on the inside with Anthony Lang at defensive end. The linebackers, Ambush is a fantastic name for a linebacker, with Danny D'Amico just outside of Syracuse, New York, with A.J. Missler also. On the backside for Albany, they line up with Lewis Carswell, Larry Walker Jr., and Isaac Duffy. Officially was 4 yards. It'll be a 2nd down and 6. Here's Patterson's first completion to Christian Watson, the All-American preseason pick at both wide receiver and kick returner, as Watson gets out to the 34-yard line, and a gain of 4.
I like that as a first throw for Quincy. Nice 5-yard, easy toss out to Watson. Cody Mauk just come back in. He's kind of my guy to watch this game. He's going to be going against Verse most of the day, although he will switch sides. He is right now.
So now it'll be on Cordell Volson's opportunity to block big number 96. Here's a 3rd down and 2. And Patterson will keep it for the first time. Got met initially, though, at the line of scrimmage. Carswell came in there, and he stopped short.
Yeah, I don't think he got it.
And it's going to be a 4th and 1 here for the Bison offense. Tyler Carswell came in there, and nice tackle on Patterson.
You can see Cordell begging to go for it, but on your own 35, that's a tough call.
So that'll bring on a couple of freshmen making their debuts on special teams, which were so unbelievably good during the spring campaign. Mike Florentine is a new true freshman long snapper, and that'll give over to the new punter, and Caden Steindorf, who takes over as a redshirt freshman.
We've had such good snappers for so long, you just take it for granted.
Good bounce here, and this will be downed at the Albany 24-yard line. So each team with a 3 and out. A penalty flag, though, has been thrown.
Sideline warning, Albany. There's no yardage associated with the warning. Media, timeout.
We got a timeout here on the field. 10:35 remaining, opening quarter of game 1. It's Albany and the Bison scoreless. Back here at Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome. This game is brought to you by Shields, proud partner of Bison Athletics. Let's go down to the field in Logan Campbell.
Tom, it is absolutely electric down here. Fans have shown out tonight. The Fargo Dome opened the season opener with full capacity. Now, this is the first time that the Great Danes have played in front of a crowd since 2019. So, Dom, it'll be very interesting to see how they perform under this environment and under this crowd noise.
They'll go to work from the 24-yard line on their second possession. A little razzle-dazzle here. This is Roy Alexander getting the outside, lost his footing, or else he had a few more yards in him as he gets out to the 31-yard line, and a gain of 7 for Eubanks was in on the stop.
I would expect to see a few plays like that early. Eubanks did a real nice job staying home over there. That's a nice test for a young guy. Don, we won't see a lot of power efforts in terms of trying to run the ball with Mofor. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to get him the ball.
Two split out wide here to the bottom of your screen on a 2nd down and 3 as we played just over 5 minutes here. Under Kuffler, over the middle. That one complete to Oda Coven. That was nearly picked off. It was a dangerous throw. He gets out to the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 10 and an Albany 1st down. That was a tight little window there.
That was. We had the blitz coming, too. I think it's smart of Coach Braun to bring a little bit of heat early. Like I say, he's a rhythm guy. You let him sit back there and get into his rhythm, he'll pick you apart. So I like to see the pressure, even though he was able to complete it there.
First down of the game for either team. Puts the ball out at the Great Dane 41. Little run pass option. That's a floater there. That's Alexander wide open. And he gets out of bounds to the 41-yard line. Little bubble screen that worked perfectly. And it goes that time for a gain of 18.
He just operates so well within their system. He will find the open man. He will find the open gap. An interesting
little hurry up here as though this time they'll go to Mofor, but nothing doing there. A host of Bison.
It's interesting. That's really the way they get their yardage with Mofor. They'll get you back on your heels. They'll see what you're starting to focus on under Kuffler. All of a sudden they'll hit Mofor and he'll pick up 8. He'll pick up 11. And that's how they get their yardage on the ground.
They officially give him 1 on that, so he's had 2 carries for 1 yard so far for the preseason Walter Payton watch list running back. Cava and Kaiser were in there on the stop. 2nd down and 9. Under Kuffler floats that one to Mofor, but wrapped up immediately. Brought down, that's Eubanks, who's showing out here in his first home start.
You know, in the spring, you expected the tackling to be a little bit poor. You know, it's not the same type of fall camp type of situation. I'm really pleased with our tackling so far. Eubanks in particular has had 2 nice plays with good leverage.
Spencer Wagee egging on the crowd. Senior from South Dakota, primed for a big year. It's a 3rd down and 8 from the Bison 38.
No backs.
5 wide.
Bringing the heat.
Under Kuffler gets that one complete. Out of bounds there to Oda Coven. He's going to be short of the 1st down. But
another nice tackle by Eubanks. That's a 1st down saving tackle. Let's see if they go for it.
it's knocked out of the 31, and it doesn't look like Greg Gattuso is going to hesitate on doing this. 4th and 1 for the Bison 31. And now a timeout taken by Matt Entz and the Bison. Seeing what Albany lined up here.
North Dakota State, their first charge timeout of the half.
Big play coming up here.
Timeout.
7:03 remaining. Opening quarter, a 4th and 1 on the other side of the break. Albany and North Dakota State scoreless here on WDAY. Back here at the Dome for a 4th and 1. Albany going for it here from the Bison 31. Mofor up the middle's got it. A big time pickup for Albany, and they'll stay on the field.
It's a big play for them. I think our defensive line was having their way with their offensive line a little bit, so that's a big pickup for them. It's only 2 yards, but that's got to be building their confidence here a little bit.
It's out to the 29-yard line. Greg Gattuso rolling the dice early on. Direct snap here is into the game as Joey Carino is the backup quarterback. Carino got snaps last year during the spring when Undercuffler got hurt.
You can see that they must have some kind of package where they feel like if they can get us running sideways, they can get us going upfield a little bit, because they've done a few plays out of that package. Let's see what Coach Braun can brew up in response.
Got 9 there on that play. 2nd down and 1. Ball spotted at the Bison 20. Undercuffler waiting, pumps to the end zone, incomplete. Had Greeny there, but just overthrew him, his tight end.
He did. He had my man Tootsie. He's an unbelievable ball player. He's going to be a great leader for us this year, but boy, they had a step or two on him there, didn't they? Well, so far, Undercuffler is living up to expectations. We just got to get him out of his rhythm. We got to figure out a way to do that. It's hard to do when you're acting out of the shotgun so often. So we just got to figure out a way to get that heat on him.
Another big third down here. 3rd and 1 from the Bison 20. Mofor makes one man miss.
Oh,
fumbled the football. It's loose.
He fumbled it.
And the Bison say they have it. And they do.
Wow, that is a big turnaround right there.
The refs are confirming here. Let's take a look.
They're giving it to us.
And it's Bison ball. Jackson Hankey was Johnny on the spot.
Wow, that's big. Dom, last year in the spring we really struggled with takeaways. We were losing that takeaway battle every game. This is a big play for us right here.
He's down. All the momentum.
It was out before he was down. What'd you think, Dom?
It looked like that ball squirted loose.
I thought so too, yep.
Let's get another look at it here. It's coming out there.
It's out.
Yep.
That's hard to reverse that.
Well, that's a big-time momentum swing
sure
after
is.
Albany was moving the football to the Bison 20, converted a 4th down.
Like I say, Dom, all through the spring, we really struggled trying to win that turnover battle. That right there, that's a big play. That could be a big momentum shift for us. Let's see what we can do for the Rams.
So the Bison offense out for its second possession after a 3-and-out to start the game. On 1st down, they'll go right up the middle. Strong run from Hunter Lipke. Lipke, who had such a star turn during the spring after sitting out the first couple games, then broke out against UND in mid-March. Lipke will be used all over the field. He gets 8 on 1st down.
We're going guard to guard here a few times early. I like to see that. Let's establish that line of scrimmage. I know we can overpower these guys, and Tyler's going right at them very early.
It's a 2nd down. We'll say officially 2 from the 28-yard line. Kobe Johnson will get his first carry of the fall. The electric running back from Georgia crosses the 37-yard line and a Bison 1st down, a gain of 9.
A lot of creases there. The Rams are already opening up big creases down. This could be interesting. We could get a heck of a lot of yardage out of our Rams, our big guys up front. That'll lighten the load on Quincy. I'd like to see them try to have the tight ends hitting up the seams or something like that.
1st and 10 from the Bison 37. Patterson's completed 1 pass so far. His 2nd attempt here. Good catch, a diving catch by Raja Nelson, but they say he's out of bounds and incomplete. Nelson, who was the Star Tribune Metro Player of the Year in 2019 out of Lakeville North. They got high hopes for the young man.
You know, one thing I'll say about Quincy, he's already making very quick reads. He's making good decisions. He's very decisive, making good throws. I've been really pleased with what I've seen so far. That's not an easy throw. It seems like, it's only a 10-yard toss. That's to the far sideline. That's a tough throw.
Patterson threw just 10 passes last fall for Virginia Tech before he decided to transfer. This is Johnson on 2nd down. Kobe Johnson with a seam to the outside and pushed out of bounds right at the midfield stripe. 13 yards for Kobe Johnson, who switched numbers. Designate the numbers of siblings in his family here. Great blocking up front.
Yeah. Cordell had a nice play. We got Jake Kubas over there on the right side. Just all sorts of seams. It's going to be a nice day for the running game for NDSU. it's nice to see Kobe get some good yardage inside as well. He's a smaller guy, not as big as Hunter, obviously, so it's nice to see him in between the tackles.
Johnson, who got hurt against UND and missed the final 4 games of the season. Patterson sings one to Josh Babbage. That's complete to the 41-yard line and a gain of 9. Strong, confident throw there.
Really nice throw. And again, in my view, we have the 2 best tight ends in the country. I really believe we have the best tight end tandem in the country. We weren't really able to utilize them last spring. I mean, we were sort of out of sorts in the spring, so I really wanted to see them take advantage of these tight ends, especially with a new quarterback. And that was a nice throw right there.
So Patterson 2 of 3 so far for 13 yards.
Got a nice drive going here.
A whistle here. And they are reviewing for a targeting call here after that completion to Babbage.
I like the play selection here. You know, it takes a while for a quarterback and his offensive coordinator and his quarterback coach. It takes a while for them to get a rhythm. I think the play calling has been really nice. Even that first drive, yeah, we didn't get the first down, but it sure looks like he may have.
Take a look here. That's leading with the helmet.
He sure may have.
That was Christian Lewis out of the Albany backfield.
Let's talk about rhythms with Albany. We're getting into a nice little rhythm here already, very early, and so it's good for Tyler to get a sense of what's happening.
While they look at this play, today's community champion is West Fargo Eats. This pop-up food pantry will soon be transformed into a permanent hunger relief program. In honor, Gate City Bank is donating $1,000. With every Bison touchdown, an additional $500 will be donated toward hunger relief. West Fargo Eats and Gate City Bank, working together for a better way of life.
Defense number 5, crown of the helmet. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the run. Automatic first down. Number 5 is disqualified.
That's a big loss here for the Great Danes. Lewis has been ejected from this game, starting cornerback for Albany, plus the 15 yards, and now they've got to go already a secondary that some of the NDSU coaches thought might susceptible to him. Now Albany's without one of its starters on the back end.
I didn't think that was a deliberate play, but it was the right call. I didn't think he was trying to lead with the helmet, but I think that was the right call.
One of the new rules as well this year, Sean, they do not put time back on the clock after any reviews to facilitate the game moving quicker unless it's under 2 minutes and a half. So the Bison now with the ball at the 26-yard line. Lewis out of the game. Ganella makes a nice cut. Dom Ganella to the 10 before he's knocked out of bounds. He just runs hard. He spent the summer with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We got a late flag down above the 13-yard line. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Eagle eye up here, caught it.
I love this kid. He, you know, like you say, he's a baseball player, just tough as nails.
Automatic first down.
2 big Albany penalties here have given the Bison a ton of yards, and now they're knocking on the door.
Albany's a well-coached team. They cannot afford these penalties early. If you want to knock off the Bison at home, you cannot afford to make those kind of mistakes this early in the game.
It's first and goal for the Herd and the Great Dane 5-yard line.
So a first down and goal to go. This is the Bison were so uncharacteristically struggled in the red zone in the spring. Lipke and Ganella lined up behind Patterson. Ganella up the gut. Gets a couple before he's met by a host of Great Danes.
I like the play call. Let's put Lupke back there and go out of I formation, go right at him. That's what we've been successful with early in the game. And you're right, Don. We struggled in the red zone last year. Let's reestablish what we like to do in the red zone. And I think that's Tyler right there trying to demonstrate, here's what we want to do in the red zone. Now, I would not be surprised to see them do a little play-action rollout or something like that to get Quincy outside of the box.
Sproles and Watson split out to the top of your screen on a second down and goal to go. You can hear a pin drop back here inside the dome. Ganella walks in, touchdown, Bison.
Good for the Rams. I like to see us get in the end zone that way.
Dom Ganella, who led the team in rushing as a freshman in the spring. The last time he played in this building, he had 2 touchdowns against Eastern Washington. He continues the trend here this afternoon.
Look at those gaps. The Rams are just getting after him.
Reinholtz in for the extra point. That is up and good. And the Bison have their first points of the fall of 2021 on an impressive drive, helped along with 2 penalties from Albany, and a 7-0 Bison lead with 1:41 to go in the first. I visited with Ganella on Media Day. I asked him about him going, because right after the spring season was done, Sean, he was out to Arizona. He's a top baseball prospect, as many Bison fans know. And he said his baseball helped him to get ready for the fall. Matt Ed's told me his lower core is as strong as ever, and it looked like it so far on a couple of those runs.
Well, it's interesting. I read a couple interviews with his baseball coaches down there, and they said the same thing, that football prepared him for baseball. So I've never heard that in either direction, but this guy, like I say, he's tough as nails. I just love to watch him play.
Look at the hole there that was created by the Bison offensive line.
The other piece I like about that drive is the way that we saw Quincy sort of control the huddle, control the atmosphere, and that was a big question mark to me.
Reinholtz will put this one in the air. Alexander will call for a fair catch. With 1:41 remaining here in this first quarter.
5-yard line, first down.
And the fair catch, the ball will be brought out to the 25-yard line.
And with the help of a student loan from Bank of North Dakota, I did. If you want to build something solid, you need a plan.
Bank of North Dakota, helping you achieve more.
So Albany will go back to work at its 25-yard line. Undercuffler, 6 of 7 for 45 yards. He's been as advertised so far.
He really has, and we'll have to see if the fact that they can normally run the ball really takes a load off his shoulders. We'll see if we can continue to hold them on the run.
He'll float one here, and that's a nice catch by Gray. Ray at the first down marker. Gray was one of the standout receivers for Albany during their spring season at 187 yards and a couple of scores on 16 receptions.
They don't have big-name receivers, but they're good at what they do.
Mofor will get this carry, tried to bounce it to the outside, but nothing happening there. Javier Derritt was in there on the stop for the Bison.
I see Tony Pearson there as well. I'm looking for a big season out of Tony. I hear a lot of things about his athletic ability.
He's been playing for a long time.
He has. And people say he has maybe the fastest first step they've ever seen. So I really want to see Tony have a breakout season.
Talking with a few of the Bison defensive coaches, they expected to play 10 to 12 guys up front in this game today. A gain of 1 for Mofor will make it a 2nd down and 9. As we're under a minute remaining in the opening quarter. Undercuffler to the outside. Odakovin's got it along the sideline. And that's a first down reception as he gets out to the 46-yard line and a gain of 10.
He just operates so well within their system. He finds the coverage. He knows where the opening is going to be, and his guy gets there. We got to find a way to get to him. Out of that shotgun, it's tough.
Odakovin only had 13 receptions in the spring. He might equal that in this game. It's already his 4th reception of the quarter.
They run really crisp routes, and he puts it in the right place, seemingly every time.
Undercuffler now 8 of 9 in this game. The handoff, Mofor bounces off a guy, still on his feet. Lost the football maybe again. He already fumbled once in this game. The referees are signaling that one was caused by the ground as the horn will sound to end what has been a
Ball carrier was down. That's the end of the first quarter.
And there you go.
Media, timeout.
Entertaining opening quarter here to start off the 2021 season. At the end of one, it's the Bison 7, Albany nothing. The second quarter is after this. Look at our Gate City Bank scoring recap. That pretty methodical drive. 9 plays, 80 yards. Obviously benefited by 2 big Albany penalties, resulting in the Dom Ganella touchdown run. Second down and 3 as we begin quarter number 2. Bison football on WDAY. We got a penalty flag thrown here. And a false start. Signaled by the line judge.
Illegal snap, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Nothing more frustrating for an offense to put you from second and manageable to second down and 8.
And their coaching staff has to be a little frustrated. Three penalties already. 2 of them were incredibly difficult. Put them in tough spots.
Second down and 8. Under Cuffler over the middle.
Oh, what a
that
catch.
One hauled in. What a great reception by Alexander in big-time traffic. Roy Alexander, freshman from Fort Myers, Florida, coming up with a nice grab.
I'll tell you what, Dom, if I'm Albany, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, you're down 7-0. You've had a few misfires. They're throwing the ball well. They're beating us in time of possession. We've really struggled with that in the spring, time of possession. They're winning that battle right now. I'm feeling pretty good if I'm Albany.
No doubt their offense has been on the field majority of the time. From the Bison 43, second time they've been in NDSU territory. Under Cuffler to the outside. Oda Coven stays in bounds. No, they say he stepped out after another reception here, this time along the sideline. They're going to mark him out at the 38-yard line. It'll be a gain of 5.
Yeah, we lucked out there. Dom, it's like you say, the receivers for Albany, they're very smooth, aren't they? And they run nice routes. We just lucked out that he stepped out there. That could have been trouble.
It gets out of his arm quickly, does it not?
Yes, yeah, it does. And, like I say, they're out of the shotgun on top of it. So it's just hard to get to him. We got to figure out a way to do that.
Second down and 6 from the Bison 37.
Well, you don't see this often.
Stop there. That was Carino came in, and Tutsi came out of his safety spot to blow it up. That's the second time they've had the designated run there for the backup quarterback and Joey Carino.
Sure, I was thinking that was under Cuffler. I was going to say, you don't see that much with him, do you? But
boy, Tutsi just flew like a missile in there.
I don't think they're going to get much between the tackles, but they got to keep trying. They have to keep us honest, of course. You hear that all the time, but they do have to keep trying.
3rd and 5 from the Bison 38. Under Cuffler back in. 3 wide to the top of your screen. Flushed out a little shovel pass.
Intercepted.
Was almost intercepted by Will Mostart. His twin brother will never let him hear the end of that, but he had almost both hands on it there on the shovel pass.
Those Mostart boys, they're productive football players. Yeah, that's tough.
Here's another 4th down. Already Albany has gone for it once and converted. This one a little deeper in the field, though, from the 38-yard line.
Why wouldn't you? I'd have confidence in this guy, too.
Bison crowd on its feet here.
Let's see if we drum up any pressures. Doesn't look like it. 4-man rush.
Under Cuffler, floating one downfield for Gray, but it's incomplete. And the Bison will take over on downs.
It's an important stop for us, but
timeout.
Timeout on the field. 13:04 to go in the first half. The Bison offense coming back out. They stymie Albany at 7-0 NDSU.
You just saw right before that timeout that the Bison defense were able to stop the Great Danes on 4th down. Now, I was able to talk to the defensive coordinator earlier this week, and he was saying the biggest thing for the Bison defense was to be able to make Under Cuffler process post snap, and that is exactly what they've been doing here tonight, Dom.
Near deep pass there to Christian Watson, knocked away. Penalty flags all over the place as they went for the home run Tyler Roll told me earlier this week, not sure if we're going to take a deep shot, but how do you not?
Defense number 23. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
How do you not with that guy out there?
Quincy underthrew it a little bit, and he was a little bit late on his release, but hey, he put it up there. He gave Christian a shot at it.
But it is pass interference on Albany. So the Bison are then the benefactor here of, that's now 4 really big penalties on Albany here in this first half. We've only played about 18 minutes of game time here. So it'll be a first down and 10 now from the Albany 47.
Delta formation.
Ganella tries to break it to the outside. Got a block there from Kobe Johnson. Penalty flag, though. This may be coming back.
It's a shame, too. We're doing a nice job going after Verse, and we really did there. We had a nice block out on the perimeter there on Verse.
Holding, offense number 44. 10-yard penalty from the spot.
You see it on Lipke right there. That's from his old wrestling days. Pretty good takedown.
That's frustrating. It's just unnecessary.
For the previous spot.
You mentioned, though, in the lineup right before the snap, Ganella was in the game, Lipke was in the game, and Johnson was in the game. Another thing that Bison would want to do more of in the spring and just could not do it with guys in and out of the lineup.
That's right. Every other year it seems like we hit hard on that Delta formation, and it always seems to work for us. It'll end up working into some play action and things like that. So I'd like to see that a little bit more if we can.
Ball is now moved back after the penalty to the Bison 43. So a first down and 20.
Costly penalty there.
Ganella right back at it. Gets out to about the 48-yard line. And a gain of 5. This Albany team, we mentioned earlier, 2019 had their best season in program history. Won 9 games, reached the second round of the FCS playoffs, won a playoff game for the first time in school history, knocked off Central Connecticut State before they lost to Montana State. They told me they got the experience of going to Bozeman, playing in a big crowd. This is going to be another experience. They want to have this because they believe they can contend in the ultra-competitive CAA this year.
They've really been building in terms of their recruiting as well, and I've been impressed with their coach.
It's a second down and 15. Patterson with time, fumbled the football. That's loose. Still they scrap for it. Finally, looks like the Bison may have gotten back on top of that. But it's all the way back to the 27-yard line. Volson was able to come up with it.
Looked like maybe that was Verse getting to him there.
Ibn Foster looked like he was right there to get the ball. And Verse, who we mentioned in our pregame show, he wanted to get up here and cause some havoc.
Boy, he split.
Did right there. Got right around Nash Jensen.
He did. He kind of split a double team. And he covers so much ground so quickly.
Man, that ball was just sitting there for a little bit, too.
Now you look at that penalty that we had and how costly that's turning out to be.
Referees are conferring here. The ball is spotted now all the way back to the 27-yard line.
Are they suggesting they recovered, or what are they suggesting?
There is no foul for defensive holding on the play.
Okay. So that's not how you neutralize Mr. Verse. That's right in his wheelhouse there.
Well, we saw it. We mentioned in our pregame show this morning, just his ability to get to the quarterback. He did it with one play we showed against Stony Brook where he literally pushed the tackle into this quarterback.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 11 minutes, 13 seconds. 11:13.
So initially there we had Cody Mauk was.
Thank you.
Cody Mauk had him, and then he slashed down inside into the C gap. Sorry, the B gap. And
well, this is interesting now because freshman Mason Miller out of Ada, Minnesota is out there at right tackle with Volson moving inside to the guard spot. As this is Kobe Johnson on third and 36. And he gets out to the 37-yard line, and that was something that was promising after the deep attempt to Christian Watson that did not end up going very well here for the Bison, and a second punt is forthcoming.
The good news is we averted disaster. The turnover would have been difficult the way their offense has been operating.
Caden Steindorf with his second punt. This one end-over-end kick. Takes a nice Bison bounce here. Florentine, who did the long snapping, is going to be down there to down it. Good punt from the redshirt freshman out of Oregon. As that's down at the 16-yard line. We got a timeout on the field with 10:16 remaining in the first half. The Bison lead Albany 7-0. Back here inside Gate City Bank Field of the Fargo Dome. Be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. First down and 10 for Albany. They go to work from its own 16-yard line. Oda Coven on the reception. He's pushed out of bounds by Destin Talbert before he got out to the 21-yard line, and a gain of 5. Oda Coven's been popular here so far. That's his 6th reception so far in this game.
Well, we dialed up some pressure. We brought 2 linebackers. Their receiver broke off his route and just did a quick curl, and Undercuffler found him. So, again, they're operating very well.
11 of 14 for 86 yards so far for the Albany signal caller.
And he's keeping the Bison offense off the field.
Second down and 4. Over the middle to Greeny, but he's immediately brought down. Jackson Hankey, that's his wheelhouse. Greeny on the reception. Big boy, 6'6", 254-pound tight end. A little bit bigger than the tight ends you played against in your day, right?
They weren't catching passes in the NCC, Dom.
Well, their other tight end is 6'3", 274.
That's more NCC style.
It's a 3rd and 1.
Might be bringing something here.
Play clock down to 4. Just gets it away. Undercuffler completes that one. No, Alexander dropped it. He had it in his hands. And it's an incomplete pass.
So I suspect they were going to run a zone there. They saw we were going to bring heat. Made a really nice check. Just weren't able to complete it.
And Albany will have to punt for the second time. Sean Rawls into punt. Price is the deep man for the Bison from Mulvane, Kansas. 85-yard punt return touchdown he had against Illinois State last March. 3rd longest in school history. Good kick here. Price will fair catch this one at the Bison 35-yard line. And that's where NDSU will take over here with 8:38 remaining in the first half in game 1 of this 2021 season. The Bison lead it 7-0. Back here at Gate City Bank Field. Reminder, stay tuned for the Proceed halftime report. That's coming up in about 8 minutes of game time as Patterson rolls out. This throw almost hauled in there by Babbage. Got a hand on it.
Boy, he threw a dart there, Dom.
He comes up a little limp there on the sideline for the big senior tight end out of Illinois.
That was a rope that Quincy just threw right there. That was a tough throw. I like the idea of getting him out in space also. Use his athletic ability a little bit. Put some pressure on those linebackers. And then you got those tight ends out there. I hope Josh is all right.
Second down and 10. Patterson now 2 of 4 so far in this game for 13 yards. Back to the air attack. Here's Phoenix Sproles with his first reception in nearly 2 years. He did not catch a pass in the Central Arkansas game as he gets out to the 37-yard line. Only a gain of 2, and a 3rd and long is coming up.
Dom, you see how close Albany has their linebackers playing to the line of scrimmage. I'd like to see us get back outside on the perimeter. Hunter got called on that holding penalty previously, but boy, they're really crunching that line. I think we need to get outside of them a little bit.
Braylon Henderson to the game with Watson and Sproles split out to the top of your screen here on a 3rd down and 8. 7:52 remaining in the first half. Patterson with time. Now he's going to take off for the first time. A penalty flag thrown, though, as he gets crunched down by Danny D'Amico at the 41-yard line. But a holding call will bring this back.
I wonder if they might decline it.
Holding, office number 63. Penalties decline. Result of the play is 4th down.
Kubas was called for the hold.
Well, we went with 3 passes in a row. We're losing the ball control battle here. I would have liked to have seen a couple runs here. We're controlling the line of scrimmage. I love Tyler, but I want to see us establish that line of scrimmage and keep the ball.
So a 3 and out for the Bison offense will result in Steindorf's 3rd punt of the afternoon. Good kick, another one. What a debut here for the redshirt freshman. That's going to be pinned inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. What a debut here for Mr. Steindorf.
Media, timeout.
We're going to timeout here with 7:18 remaining in the first half. Albany coming back on the field. The Great Danes trail 7-0. Back here at the Dome. 7:18 remaining in the first half. Albany going to work from its own 9-yard line. Mofor on the carry. Blown up there. The Bison defense. Tony Pierce leading the way to make sure Mofor couldn't get to the outside.
We read that nicely. They pulled a couple interior linemen. That wasn't going anywhere. Jasir read that very nicely. I see we have a couple new young linebackers in. We got Wirtz in there and Hofstedt.
Luke Wirtz had a great fall camp from Batavia, Illinois. 3rd year in the program. And Ed said, we got to find ways to get number 47 on the field. He's out there right now on a 2nd down and 10. Undercuffler wants to go deep. Got a man down there. Incomplete. A little too tall for Gray. Dom Jones back there in coverage. It'll be 3rd down and long.
We had Eubanks as well. You knew we were going to see that a few times. They're going to try to go deep on Mr. Eubanks. He was with him, step for step. I think he's answering some of the questions we've been asking.
3rd and 10 from the Albany 9 as the Bison faithful on its feet. This is Carino into the game to run it. Tries to get to the outside. Knocked out of bounds by Pierce. Big time hit right in front of the sideline. Carino looks like he's okay. But he's going to come up, looks like a yard short of the 1st down.
What an athletic play by Tony Pierce. He really closed. He came a long way to get there, too.
This is a big-time hit. Right into Matt Entz.
Boy, that was a big play. Now they got a punt. And we get field position. That's a nice play by Tony Pierce.
I'm sure the head coach has taken a hit like that since his playing days. Just short of the 1st down. The Bison defense forces another 3 and out for Greg Gattuso's team. Rawls bobbled that. Able to get it away. Braylon Henderson is back deep. He's going to let this one roll. Good punt with the roll. And it's down at the 32-yard line. And that's where the Bison offense will take over here after this next possession.
From the fan zone to the end zone, your local field says everything goes. The 31-yard line.
Bison go back to work now from their own 31-yard line after a quick 3 and out on offense. Let's see what they dial up on this drive. Patterson just 3 of 5 so far. This is Kobe Johnson. Johnson has run hard so far in this game. The holes are there running the football, Sean. There's no doubt.
They absolutely are. And I understand Coach Roll wants to get a rhythm going with Quincy. I understand that the last series I was a little skeptical with 3 passes. But you're right, Dom, that it's there. It's there for us. It's there for the taking. We've established the line of scrimmage. We can do this all day, I think.
Gain of 7 for Johnson. We'll bring up a 2nd down and 3. Clock running as we near 5 minutes remaining in the first half. 7-0. Bison with the lead. Patterson to throw. Over the middle. Nice move there. Lipke still on his feet. He just goes everywhere in formation. Hunter Lipke out to the Albany 48-yard line. That's a gain of 14 yards and a Bison first down.
That's another Bison!
What a great way to get a nice reception for Quincy, get him back into rhythm. Nice, easy toss to Hunter. And we got to get Hunter the ball anyway, and this is a good way to do it.
Lipke is literally a Swiss Army knife. They use him all over the field.
Heck, the kid's unbelievable.
We saw it in just the one game last fall against Central Arkansas. He had 2 touchdown receptions from Trey Lance. Johnson on first down. Still moving forward here. Penalty flag, though, on the play, as he was brought down to the 45-yard line, but we'll find out what the penalty is about.
Illegal formation. Number 70 lined up off the line of scrimmage. Created 5 men in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
So Cody's one of my players to watch. I didn't mean to put the spotlight on him. Here he is lining up a little bit off the line of scrimmage. He's got a tough job today, though. You know, he just does.
Makes it first and 15 for the Herd.
So it'll back NDSU up 5. Ball spotted at the Bison 47-yard line. Opening up this season, going for a 23rd consecutive home opener win. Last time they lost was 1998 in this building to Emporia State. Patterson to the outside. There's Christian Watson with his first catch of the season, as he gets out to the Albany 49-yard line.
Quincy does not lack in terms of his ability to make a decision and throw it. He's not lacking in confidence. Again, not an easy throw.
There's a gain of 4 on that pass.
We've got to figure out ways to get Watson the ball.
Clock running, so we're down to 3:20 remaining in the first half. 7-0, Bison with a lead. This is Ganella trying to find some room to the outside there. Not much. He got about a yard in the play. It'll be a 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Nice recovery there by them. You know, and we're doing exactly what I thought we would try to do, is get to the perimeter.
Coming up limping here.
Uh-oh.
This is running off here, but initially looked like maybe the leg got tied up there as he comes off. Something we'll keep an eye on here. Now 3rd and 10.
We've yet to see Hunter as the up back. Be interesting to see if we have to do that if Dom stays out.
Patterson floats one out. Incomplete. Trying to get that to Watson. A little low there on that throw. And the Bison pick up a first down, but we'll have to punt it away again after a promising start to this drive.
Number 3.
Had Watson there for a first down, but just underthrown.
The good news is there's some nice protection there by the Rams. And that's going to be something to watch as the day progresses, if Mr. Verse is able to tee off.
Steindorf so far maybe the MVP of this game already with 3 punts. 2 of them inside the 20. He'll try to do it again for the redshirt freshman. And he will, as that one will be fair caught at the 10-yard line by Oda Coven. And that's where the Great Dane offense will go to work, trailing 7-0 here with 2:17 to go in the first quarter. Albany's got to feel, granted, they have not capitalized on moving the football, but to be down 7-0 with the way that they are playing offensively, they'll take it right now.
I just continue to feel like they've got the rhythm offensively. And under Kuffler, you feel like he's going to find a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. So we got to figure out a way to get to him. I keep saying that, but we've got to sack him. Got to get him on the ground somehow.
Albany takes over at its own 10-yard line. Under Kuffler, floats it, intercepted by Dawson Weber. Weber shakes off a man, a penalty flag. A couple of them have been thrown. Weber still on his feet as he's out of bounds at the 10-yard line as the Bison get their first turnover via the interception.
The return coming back, it might be, but two takeaways for the defense. Yes. That's huge.
Van Ness stressed that through out fall camp, but it is press conference on Monday. We do not need to lead the nation in pass breakups. We need to get our hands on the ball. So far, they've done that with a fumble recovery and now with a Weber pick.
You know, the way we kind of struggled offensively in the spring, we needed to take the ball away, and we just weren't able to do that. So I know it was a point of emphasis this fall.
Weber, who missed a majority of the spring with an injury.
There are two fouls on the play, both on the defense after the interception. Illegal lock below the waist, number 23 defense. That penalty is Klein. Illegal block in the back, defeat defense number 26. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Those defensive guys never know how to block after they get a pick, huh? Price and Kaiser were both whistled or flagged there, but the Bison will still have possession at the Albany 39. And what a opportunity here, Sean, with the ball now, and obviously the Bison get the ball to start the second half.
The interesting piece is 2 minutes here. Now with that penalty, we're out to the 40. The play calling is going to be interesting. This is a tough area, especially with only 2 minutes left.
Bison have 2 timeouts to play with. See if they can get something going offensively. They'll hand it off to Kobe Johnson on first down. Albany, though, swarmed that one. Verse was right there in the middle to make the tackle.
Their linebackers were getting thrown around a little bit in the first quarter. They've sort of recovered. They figured out how to play this, and Kobe's got to run in there a little bit harder, I think, if you're going to run between the tackles. I know he's a lighter kid, but he's got to come in there a little bit harder.
Gain of 1. Clock running here as we're down to the final 90 seconds of the opening quarter. Second down and 9. Watson, they fake to him. Patterson will keep it himself. The big man trying to drive forward, got out of there, and almost was able to spring that loose. Fans are upset that they blew the whistle early.
The ball carrier's forward progress was stopped. Third down.
Boy, I don't know if it was stopped, though.
I don't think so either.
He ran right into Danny D'Amico.
Boy, they didn't give him much time there.
No, he was slithered out. Clock's still running here.
Yeah.
Bison still have 2 timeouts. Not electing to use them as we're under a minute remaining in the first half of the third down and 4 coming up.
There's a long field goal here. We got to get at least another 10 yards in my
now
view.
It'd be about 51 yards for Reinholtz. Patterson waiting over the middle. Nice. Caught there by Braylon Henderson, who went up and got it. That's spotted down at the 24-yard line. Great hands from the young man from Plano, Texas.
Play as a first down. Timeout, North Dakota State.
Bison will spend their second timeout.
30-second timeout.
Henderson, I thought, really started to show during the spring campaign. Had a long touchdown reception against Missouri State right before the half.
Yeah, he's got that big play capability. It's just been interesting to watch Quincy. He's got so much confidence. He'll make these tough throws. That, again, not an easy throw. And you look at it, and well, it's only a 10-yard game. That was not an easy throw. So from a visceral perspective, you know, he's passing the eye test.
Bison have 1 timeout remaining now at the 24-yard line. Manhattan's trying to steal some points here right before the break, knowing the Bison get the ball to start the second half after the pick from Dawson Weber.
Siganella's back in.
First and 10 for the Herd at the 24.
Nelson and Lippy here to the bottom of your screen on a first down and 10. Ganella driving forward with those strong legs of his, gets out to the 18-yard line. NDSU will spend its final timeout there.
Timeout.
Stopping things with 26 seconds left. And a second down and 4.
30-second timeout.
So I'm sure Coach feels like, look, if we can get a field goal out of this, go in 10-0 and get the ball back second half, we're feeling pretty good about it.
Bison Nation, the Herd is headed to Roar's red zone.
The other nice piece is, we forced the turnover, obviously, but the time of possession was getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
We were losing that battle, so that takeaway was significant. We put him, the punter, our freshman punters, pinned him back twice, and that's been pretty significant already.
Now, right now, the Bison have actually had the ball 7 seconds longer than Albany, which is completely flipped on that. Albany's had it for 13:48. Bison have had it for 13 minutes and 55 seconds. Which, if you were just watching this like we have, it seemed like they've had the ball almost the entire time, has Albany.
Yep.
Second down and 4. 26 seconds to go in the half. Patterson to the end zone.
Nice
Caught.
throw.
Touchdown, Bison.
What a throw. What a throw. Boy, he stood in there, very confident, unleashed it. What a dart.
A bullet to Josh Babbage for Quincy Patterson's first NDSU passing touchdown. Right on the money, and a heck of a catch by Babbage.
Number 41, Caden Steindorf will hold. Number 37, Jake Reinhold for the change.
Gosh, I wasn't expecting that. I thought we were going to see something in terms of just trying to preserve the ability to kick a field goal. That was nice.
Reinhold's, the extra point is up and good. And the Bison convert off the turnover again. Babbage, who had a couple touchdowns during the spring season, with his first here in the fall, and it's a 14-0 Bison lead.
1 minute 45 seconds. Josh Babbage.
That was a dart.
That really was. Boy, Quincy keeps getting more and more confident. And kudos to Coach Roll for that type of call with that type of situation.
And they just needed that for some momentum purposes here, Sean. Just offensively wise, for a good majority of this first half, it's been stagnant and was not on that drive.
Well, gosh, I was surprised to hear you say, Dom, that now we flipped the time of possession. Because, boy, like you say, it didn't feel like it. They were driving on us. The punter kicking them back on the 10 twice. That was significant. The decision-making, the play calling, everything was in flux a little bit for Albany.
Everybody up for the kickoff. The mark is on.
As a linebacker, I don't want to say this, but our punter is up there for player of the game so far, isn't he?
Caden Steindorf has been tremendous in his first collegiate game. This kick will be returned at about the 8-yard line. A seam here for Alexander, who gets out to the 33-yard line. He's had a good first half. Has Roy Alexander for Albany. And with 15 seconds to play, we'll see what Greg Gattuso decides to do before the break.
Well, it felt for a while like they were doing whatever they wanted on offense, and it felt like they were going to be able to put some points on the board. I'm just shocked at this point that they're scoreless.
5 plays, 39 yards, a minute 45 on the Gate City Bank scoring recap that ends with a Babbage 18-yard touchdown. Under Kuffler, over the middle. That one hauled in. Alexander breaks it loose. Alexander at the 10 will get in for a touchdown. Did he get in? Yes, the referees say he crossed the plane before it was stripped away. And how about that? A big play from the Great Danes. That goes for a 67-yard touchdown. We just talked about him, and Alexander gets into the end zone.
God, once again,
Guy just finding the right spot.
Ruling on the field, the ball crossed the plane to the goal line in possession of the offense. Touchdown.
A replay here inside the dome. Fans are saying perhaps not. We're looking here live as Eubanks tried to strip Alexander. They are going to review this play to see if it's a touchdown.
It's a close one. It'd be hard to overturn.
Boy, this is a huge momentum play here right before the break. So we're looking at the Fargo Dome feed right now. Another look.
Wow.
Boy, that's close.
That
from
is.
that, it's tough to tell from where the plane and where if he crossed it.
That's a tough call.
The Bison fans obviously think that this is going to be a fumble.
Now you're going to have to reverse it. Boy, from that angle,
Boy,
though,
from
it
that
sure
angle,
looks like it.
Again, it's tough to see because you don't know where the plane and where the ball is.
Yep.
Well, you want to talk about a monster call here in this game with 4 seconds remaining in the first half.
Heads-up play by Eubanks getting there.
Absolutely. Here's a better look at it. That ball, ooh, it is so close.
Still, from that angle, I don't think he broke the plane, do you?
Great work by our guys in the truck here. That ball's out, Sean.
Yep,
I think
so
that might
too.
be a fumble.
I think so, Dom. All right, now, are they going to have the courage to reverse it?
Here's the thing. They got to have, obviously, incontrovertible evidence here to overturn it, and the ruling on the field was touchdown.
Yep.
That every angle I've seen, though, I don't know that
looks
there's
like a fumble.
Yeah,
We're looking at it from right here.
Every angle I've seen, I don't think there's any way you could conclude that's.
Boy, this is a huge call. Referee's coming off the headset.
After further review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown stands.
Oh, wow. Wow.
There it is. Apparently they didn't see enough to overturn it. And it's a 67-yard touchdown from Undercuffler to Roy Alexander. And Albany gets on the board with 4 seconds remaining in the first half. On a monster play with a Bison had just snagged all the momentum. Albany gets it right back.
Oh, they got a faked
it here, and that's not going to go anywhere. So the Great Danes tried for a 2-point play. That does not work. And with 4 seconds remaining in the first half, it's now 14-6.
Disappointing.
Boy, holy cow, what momentum here in the last 20 seconds of the half with 2 touchdowns. This is the attempt on the field, or extra point, excuse me. They got that right out of the Bison playbook, by the way.
Yeah.
NDSU did that a couple of times in 2019. Most notably, James Hendricks, who kept it himself in the national championship game for a touchdown against James Madison.
But just interesting how that alters the complexion of the game entirely. Here we just, like you say, Dom, we snagged momentum. We were going to get the ball coming out in the second half. It was just a matter of tackling there. Just a huge turnaround.
Again, we're looking at it here. Again, for what they must be seeing, and if they've got a different angle than we do, that the nose of the football is all that you need to get to that cross the plane. And if they're thinking it's right there, it's still hard to determine if he had possession of the ball. Either way, they looked at it, and they called it a touchdown.
That's what it is.
And it's game on here with 4 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, they're feeling pretty good going into the locker room
now, considering how things were playing there for the last 2 to 3 minutes of game play. Squib kick here will be fielded Joe Stuffle, one of the up men there, is able to bring this out. And that will do it for the first half, which was filled with a little bit of everything here in this season opener for 2021. Quincy Patterson delivers his first touchdown pass to Josh Babbage after a Dom Ganella touchdown. But right before the break, Jeff Undercuffler connects with Roy Alexander on a great play over the middle, and he gets into the end zone, and it is a 14-6 Bison lead over Albany heading into the halftime locker room. Let's go downstairs to Logan Campbell.
Thanks, Dom. Coach, unfortunate touchdown at the end of the half. What did you see?
Well, we didn't do a very good job of keeping the cup. We're in probably about as simple a coverage as we could have been in cover two. We just got to make a tackle, and then we're out of the half. So frustrating, and we had some momentum down here with the touchdown late. Offensively, complimentary football. Defense did a great job creating a takeaway, and all of a sudden we kind of lost that. So we got to get back out here. We have the ball right away. We got to go.
Right, like you said, your offense scored a touchdown at the end of the half too. What do you think the difference was? Because it got to the slower start in the passing game. What do you think clicked on that final drive?
Well, you know, Quincy threw a great strike to Josh, and so Josh went up, made a great catch. We got to be more consistent. We're in too many third longs, second longs, so we got to get some run game sorted out. We got to get time of possession going, all right, in the second half.
Thanks so much, Coach. Dom, back to you.
Thank you.
Halftime here at Gate City Bank Field on opening day 2021. North Dakota State leads Albany 14-6. Stay tuned for the Proceed Halftime Report. You're watching Bison Football live on WDAY.
Dom Izzo, WDAY News.
Logan Campbell, the transfer portal. It's a way for teams to recruit players that can make an immediate impact on their team. Well, during this unusual offseason, the Bison picked up 5. Back in January, quarterback Quincy Patterson transferred to the Bison from Virginia Tech. After playing 3 games in the fall for the Hokies, Patterson was ineligible to play in the spring season.
It's hard to sit out, especially with the type of season we had last year. You kind of just want to do something, but just watching them play, knowing that those are my teammates, it was rough.
Now, Patterson, he's not the only transfer the Bison added to the offense. Following 2 seasons at SMU, Tamarick Williams was frustrated with the lack of playing time he was getting. So he decided to look elsewhere.
Initially, I transferred from SMU mostly because the coaching staff wasn't really playing me much. I felt like I practiced hard. I put in the work. I was always in the playbook. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't really get much of an opportunity to compete on Saturday.
With the opening of the portal, the Dallas native was a popular man.
When I first went into the portal, I got followed by a lot of coaches, a lot of FBS coaches, a lot of FCS coaches, and they all reached out to me at different times and expressed interest in me at different times. But I just feel like ultimately this school was the best fit for me.
The Bison defense added depth to its secondary with the late addition of Eastern Michigan cornerback transfer Gerard Vines.
Yeah, my biggest thing was just if I want to take it serious, I gotta limit the distractions. It's easy for me to go home. It's easy for me to know people, a lot of people. So I was just trying to basically get out of my comfort zone.
The Detroit, Michigan native had several options, but after one conversation with the Bison, he knew Fargo would be his new home.
Just the first conversation, it was they didn't really ask me about another school who was recruiting me. They didn't ask me about what I want to play. They asked me about my family. They asked me about what am I looking for? What am I looking for from them?
Stick around. We have more coming up on the Proceed Halftime Report.
Welcome to the Proceed Halftime Report.
Welcome back to the Proceeds Halftime Report. I'm Logan Campbell, joined here today by Jeff Kolpak. Jeff, I got to start with that final touchdown score by Albany. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was almost kind of stunning, wasn't it? It looked so routine where, the Bison would take this 14-0 lead into halftime like they usually do. What really struck me about this game is college football's back. The noise, the crowd. I'm going hoarse just talking to you right here. So, yeah, it's just fun, entertaining football to be back. But I think overall it was a good half for NDSU. Offense, pretty mundane until that last drive. But, they're holding on to Kuffler okay until that last play.
Right. Like you were saying, they're holding on pretty well. What have you seen from the defense that you believe they'll continue to take into the second half?
Well, the biggest thing is holding Carl Mulfer, their All-American running back. 7 carries, 11 yards. That's pretty good stuff. So if you can continue to do that, I think you're in good shape. A quarterback coming in here is just not going to beat you with his right arm all game. At some point, like that interception we saw, you're going to get hurt, and then he comes back to the long one. I get that, but if Albany doesn't get their running game going, I just don't know if they can continue to move the ball.
Right, the cornerbacks have been doing a great job shutting it down. Offensively, North Dakota State got off to a slower start with their passing game. They started clicking towards the end. What do you think the difference was?
Well, he just maybe looked a little more comfortable, I thought, but it was a struggle there for a while. I mean, it just didn't look like he was in the flow. He's new, though, all right? This is his first start, so it's a first game. We'll see what the second half holds.
All right, thanks so much for joining me today, Jeff Kolpak. Dom and Sean, coming up, Dom and Sean will take a look at the first half highlights.
Back here, Gate City Bank Field, our Proceed halftime report. Continuing a look at our first half highlights with Sean Fredericks. This game slow to start, and Dom Ganello burst into the end zone for the first Bison touchdown of the fall. Made it a 7-0 lead. They expanded after an interception from Dawson Weber. There's a great throw from Quincy Patterson. This play, though, Sean, controversial at the end of the first half as Roy Alexander burst loose, and they say crossed the plane for a touchdown.
I still don't see it. That's very upsetting. But as Coach Entz pointed out, hey, how did we let that happen in cover 2?
You look at our first half stats, rushing yards, the Bison was 73. Like Albany already thrown for a $155, helped out by that 67-yard touchdown. Obviously, the 2 turnovers critical in the first half for Albany. The Bison have taken advantage of both of those.
Yeah, and the takeaway battle, we're winning that. That's a big improvement from the spring. The other piece is that Mo 4 is not getting a rhythm going. That's big for us.
Those are our halftime stats. When we come back, we'll kick off the second half. North Dakota State leads Albany 14-6. The Proceed halftime report continues after this.
This has been the Proceed halftime report.
Getting ready for the kickoff of the second half of this Bison season opener for 2021 with Logan Campbell, Sean Fredericks. I'm Dom Izzo. Bison football back on WDAY. Super excited about that. Not sure if Matt Entz is super excited about how the end of the first half went. Obviously, they had all the momentum after the Josh Babbage touchdown coming off the Dawson Weber interception, but that play, you cannot understate that and what that could do for Albany here when we start the second half.
Yeah, that's right. Going into the half, you feel like if you're under Kuffler and you're Albany, you're feeling like I've been playing well the whole half, and we're still down 14-0, and the Bison are getting the ball. Well, here we are. It's 14-6. They shifted the momentum back. That was such a huge play. You can't stress how important that was, how significant that was in terms of the complexion of this game.
Say what you will about the Bison defense. Carl Mulfor, 7 carries, 11 yards. As you mentioned, longest run is 7 on 1 carry. So the rest of that, 6 carries for 4 yards.
That's right. You know, what they end up doing is they get you on your heels. Under Kuffler will be killing you going down the field. All of a sudden, they'll hit Mo 4, and he'll hit 15 yards. That's how they beat teams. We've not let them do that so far. If we can continue to contain Mo 4, that'll give us a chance to win this game.
Bison will get the ball to start the second half. If you're wondering, you're just joining us, what is NDSU wearing? These are 1965 throwback jerseys honoring the first championship team that beat Grambling in the Pecan Bowl way back in 1965. I think the socks have been the most popular part of the uniform as we start the second half with a pooch kick that's going to be fielded by, I believe, Sam Young, one of the upmen there. Actually, that was Nick Kubitz, backup linebacker, who fielded that. And the Bison will take over at the 25-yard line. Quincy Patterson, 7 of 10 for 60 yards and a touchdown in the first half. How did you evaluate how his first half went?
Well, one of the things I was going to think about was how is he managing the game, and I think he's managing it very well. I think the coaches have a lot of confidence in what he's doing. They're not asking him to do too much too early, and I appreciate that. I think he looks good. I think he's done what he's had to do.
See if the Bison offense can keep its momentum that they found at the end of the first half as they'll go to work for from the 25. Jared Verse has already had his name called, forcing a fumble as Cannella bounces to the outside, and look out, Dom Cannella past midfield, still on his feet down the sideline. On the first play of the second half, it's a touchdown. There's a late penalty flag thrown, and it could be on a block.
Touchdown, North Dakota State.
You see the explosiveness from that young man. At the 10-yard line is where the penalty marker was thrown.
Well, they're sorting through this. What a great read at the point of attack by Ganella to bounce it back. And nice burst for him.
Bison's sideline is indicating.
During the run, illegal block below the waist, defense, number 29. That 15-yard penalty, when administered on the kickoff, result of the play is a touchdown.
One play, touchdown, 75 yards for the outstanding sophomore out of Riverview, Florida. This was something else to start the second half.
I was complaining all through halftime about momentum, and look what we did. Big time play there by Ganella.
So his last two games at the Fargo Dome, he scored 4 touchdowns as Reinholz kicks the extra point, and 13 seconds into the second half, it's a 21-6 lead. Here's another look at the Ganella touchdown. Just shook off a guy.
Timeout.
He's incredibly strong, Dom. I've heard he can bench press over 400 pounds. He's just a young guy, and he's got a burst.
We got a timeout here. 14:47 to go, third quarter. The Bison explosive out of the gates. Lead at 21-6. Our Gate City Bank scoring recap. This is the best kind. One play, 75 yards on the Ganella touchdown that took all of 13 seconds. With that Bison touchdown, Gate City Bank donates an additional $500 to West Fargo Eats, today's community champion. When the Bison score, so does our community champion, West Fargo Eats, with another $500 donation from Gate City Bank. Now, after the penalty there, the ball being kicked off right at the 50-yard line. That ball's live. It picked up by Gray and then hauled down. What a tackle on the play. That's Cole Wisniewski coming in on special teams. Of course, Wisniewski started 2 games last year at linebacker in the playoffs against Eastern Washington and Sam Houston. The future very bright for that young man.
Big, strong, rangy kid. Excellent on special teams.
Here's another look here, Sean, at the Ganella touchdown.
Look at the Rams. Yeah.
Watch the Watson block. This is the part right there, because that was the penalty thrown on the low block.
And, you know, scouts are watching him here. 40 Canoe catching the ball, but look at that.
Under Kuffler, tried to get that out to Gray in space. That was the play that worked on that slant over the middle to Alexander. We got a penalty flag here thrown.
Penalty flag on the play.
Ineligible receiver illegally downfield. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
Greg Gattuso is not going to be happy about the undisciplined nature of his team. That's the 6th penalty already here against Albany.
That's a tough piece for them. I think they are very well coached and they're very disciplined, generally speaking. That's got to be really frustrating for him. You're trying to beat the NDSU in their home field, and you're having shooting yourself in the foot like that over and over.
Correction. North Dakota State has elected to decline the ineligible.
So the Bison will decline that. Gattuso, the former Penn State Nittany Lion, trying to install some of those lessons he learned in Happy Valley and bring it to a program that traditionally has not been great in football. They've come here to the CAA and were predicted last a couple years ago when they made the playoffs. They predicted 8th this year. On the slant, there's Alexander, shakes off a man, makes another man miss, and Tutsi. Finally, Kaiser drags him down to the field, but not before he gets out to the 31-yard line and a gain of 18 for Roy Alexander.
Coach Braun's got to be happy about getting those 2 turnovers in the first half, but he's got to be really frustrated with the tackling in the secondary so far.
First and 10 for the Great Danes at the 31-yard.
Hankey had a chance there and couldn't get him.
We got to find an answer here. We cannot let Undercuffler just take us down the field.
14 of 20 for a $173 for the Albany quarterback. Now he'll take this one himself. He does not do this often and slides down. He is not known to be that mobile of a quarterback.
You know, it's tough for our defensive line. I've been watching them the whole game, watching those battles against their offensive linemen. Their offensive linemen, none of them are excellent, right? But they're all good at what they do, and they keep us on the line just long enough. At some point, Wagey's going to break through, I have to believe, but it's got to be frustrating for a D-line. They just don't have enough time to get there.
And so far, they have not yet in this game. Only one as they mark it down initially where Undercuffler started his slide. So it's a 2nd down and 9, just underway in the second half. Waiting, then throws that one away as they're right on cue. Tony Pierce getting to the quarterback.
Yep.
Brings up 3rd and 9.
Nice read by Jasir as well. You could see that coming. Yep. The back went right in front of Jasir's face. Very disciplined play by him there.
The Bison crowd on its feet here on a 3rd down and 9. Albany yet to convert. 0 for 6 on 3rd downs.
Hard to believe that, isn't it?
Yet they're 50% on 4th down.
Yeah.
Play clock down to 5. Undercuffler. Down he goes.
There it is.
Eli Mostart with the sack.
Nice little inside stunt. Eli ran it to perfection.
The standout sophomore from Lakeville, Minnesota, who had his coming out party in the spring against Northern Iowa. Bison coaches cannot rave about that young man enough. Part of a state championship team at Lakeville North.
Nothing too fancy there, just a little inside X. Eli cut it sharp across the corner and came hard.
The first sack of the Bison season will force an Albany punt. Rawls gets this one off. Henderson is back deep. Will let this one go. And the Bison will take over at about the 37-yard line. We've got a timeout here. 12:26 remaining 3rd quarter. Bison offense and defense humming to start the second half. It's 21-6 Bison. You're watching NDSU football on WDAY.
Scoop and ladder on the north end.
Back here, Gate City Bank Field, Fargo Dome, North Dakota State ball. 1st down and 10 at its own 37-yard line. Today's game brought to you by Shields, proud partner of Bison Athletics, as Jalen Bussey gets his first carry of the game. Gets out to about the 39-yard line. They nickname him the Bus Electric running back.
You know, they got
a Tampa area.
Interesting dilemma sort of in that running back room. Bussey and Kobe Johnson, very similar type of runners, but you know, how you decide who gets the carries.
It was a gain of 2. Bussey's so electric. Had a game 2 years ago in his freshman year. Twice touched the ball, scored touchdowns against Western Illinois. Play action here. Patterson wants the deep ball. Watson's there. Incomplete. Through the hands of Watson, who was wide open. They had it, but couldn't come up with it.
Well, nice play call. Obviously, Quincy sat back and did everything he had to do.
That's right there. Watson couldn't bring it in.
He's caught a million of those. I'm sure he'd love to have that back.
That's a beautiful ball from Patterson. That was one thing he told me all month long, Sean. People just wondering about his accuracy. I just haven't thrown it. People haven't seen me throw. I can do it. And you can see it there. That was a crisp ball here on a 3rd down and 8. Patterson completes that one. That was hauled in by Sproul. Excuse me, that was Raja Nelson. It's going to be short, though, the 1st down as he got up to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 6. It'll be 4th down and short.
You know, I've heard a lot of the same thing, Dom, that people who've been at practice, they say, I don't understand where this criticism is in terms of Quincy's accuracy. Everybody who's watched him has said, I see him throw good balls. So I think you're right. I think it's just the fact that people haven't seen him throw it.
So NDSU will punt as Steindorf, who had a couple of boomers, 3 of them already inside the 20, will try for a 4th here. And a heck of a debut for him at the collegiate level as we've got a whistle here.
Prior to snap, the previous play is under further review.
And they are going to review the most recent play on that reception to Raja Nelson.
They're reviewing if it was a catch, or are they reviewing whether or not he was down, or the spot?
I thought the last one of what you were saying there, if they were going to give him more progress than what initially was ruled on the field.
In any event, I can't imagine we'd go for it. I think he'd be short either way, most likely.
There's nothing, unless they're going to say a face mask maybe.
Oh.
Hard to tell there.
Of course, with 21-6, you never know with Coach Entz. Sometimes he'll make a call and he'll surprise you. So if we get a yard out of this, maybe he will decide to go for it. That's one thing I like about his style. He'll keep you guessing. He'll be very aggressive at times, and that keeps the other coaches honest.
Second lengthy review we've had in this football game here today. For Albany, pretty unique situation for them for this start of this season, playing here in a dome this week, and then in 2 weeks' time they play at Syracuse, which I know for a bunch of their players, that is their Super Bowl. For a lot of guys that were recruited around the Central New York area, they want to get a chance to play at the Carrier Dome.
After further review, ruling on the field that the ball was short of the line to gain, stands. 4th down.
That's what I thought. Yeah. They were reviewing there. And Nelson, another Lakeville North product. He was teammates with the Mostar twins when they won the state championship a couple of years ago at US Bank Stadium. How did that team ever lose a game? They didn't a couple of years ago. With those two guys and him on it, they had a couple other Division I prospects playing as well.
Every year. They're strong every year, aren't they?
And now a timeout taken by Albany.
Timeout, Albany. It's their first charge timeout of the half.
We're going to stoppage here with 10:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Bison lead this game 21-6. We're back to the Dome after this. Fourth down here as the Bison will punt it away after considerably lengthy stoppage there for a review and then a timeout. This one off the side of Steindorf's foot, and that's going to take an Albany bounce. By far his worst punt of the day. That's going to be down to the 31-yard line. That's where Albany will take over here on offense coming up.
My plan was to get a degree in engineering, and with the help of a student loan from Bank of North Dakota, I did. If you want to build something solid, you need a plan.
Bank of North Dakota, helping you achieve more.
Great Danes will take over. Big drive here at their own 31, trailing 21-6 early in the 3rd quarter. Bison scored on the first play of the second half on a Ganella touchdown. Mofor still nothing happening for the All-CAA running back. Swarmed there. Lane Tucker was in there along with Braden Thomas.
I see they brought a slot back in the box as a lead blocker from Mofor there. They're trying to figure out a way to get him some yardage. It's just not happening under their normal formation.
Frustrating. Mofor will really want to get out and show what he can do, but he's had no running room here. 8 carries for 11 yards. No gain of the play. It's 2nd down and 10. Under Kuffler, slant, nearly tipped, nearly picked. Jasir Cox was waiting in the area. The Other number 3 on Odakoven.
Tyler Odakoven. Knocked away by number 3.
Pretty decent ball.
Looked like Cox and Destin Talbert actually may have knocked the ball away from him.
Yeah.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Great
Good to see Talbert in there.
Eastern Michigan transfer Gerard Vines on the field now at cornerback. He, along with Courtney Eubanks. Vines, one of the 5 transfers added to the Bison roster. Notably Quincy Patterson obviously there as well.
Dom Jones in there as well.
3rd and 10. Over the middle, Greeny hangs on to it.
Short.
He's going to be short, though, as he gets to the 40-yard line. Needed 10, got 9. Undercuffler's looking at the sideline. Let's do it, but the punting unit is coming out of the field for Albany.
Gaining 9 on the play. Brings up 4th and 1.
Looks like we're relying a little less on the quarterback blitz. What they're trying to do more on the defensive line, they're just trying to go with stunts, little inside stunts, little X's. I think that's probably going to be the most effective. It's not going to happen fast enough for the linebackers to get in there.
Rawls to punt it away again. Deep kick here. Price will field this at about his own 16-yard line. Jaden Price trying to get to the outside and get a block. Jaden Price down the sideline, crosses midfield and brought down on an excellent return out to the 45-yard line of Albany. The special teams wizardry of the Bison continues after a great spring.
I just love that kid. He's got enthusiasm coming through the ears, and he wants to take every single one to the house. You can just tell.
Let's go downstairs to Logan.
Thanks, Dom. Well, today you can see the Bison sporting the throwback uniforms. Now, they did this to a nod to the 1965 team who won the first championship, and they're trying to set the tone for the season. They're wearing the throwback helmets, the white cap jerseys. Look at those socks, Dom. I mean, who doesn't love a classic throwback jersey?
I'm a big Sox guy, I'll tell you that. Price, former quarterback in high school. I mean, he just has athleticism all over the place here. Here's Tamarick Williams, the SMU transfer, to get his first carry of the game as a penalty flag is thrown. We mentioned Williams at halftime. Dallas kid who stayed at his hometown.
Holding, offense number 72. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down. Officials timeout for a defensive injury.
Jalen Sundell is whistled for the holding call, the center. And that's not good news for Albany. That's Jared Verse, who's down, who has not come off the field yet for Albany on defense. And you can tell he is in a world of hurt right now.
He had a nice penetration on that play. I don't know if his hand got on a face mask or what happened, but he got deep into the backfield.
Officials attending to Verse right now.
Sundell's actually had a good game. I've been watching him a little bit. He's playing pretty well. I didn't see his hold on that one, but overall, our offensive line really performing well.
Looks like Verse will be able to walk off here, which is a good sign. Standout defensive player for the Great Danes. Reminder of that Bison touchdown. Gate City Bank donates an additional $500 to West Fargo Eats. Today's community champion. When the Bison score, so does our community champion, West Fargo Eats, with another $500 donation from Gate City Bank. Hopefully we're going to see Verse come back into this lineup.
Yeah, that guy's a warrior. You want to see him the rest of the season for Albany.
So after the holding call on Sundell, it is a first down and now 20. Patterson gets this to Jake Lippy, who makes his first reception. Lippy from Port Washington, Wisconsin, had a big-time touchdown Hail Mary catch against Southern Illinois last year.
Pass protection has just been excellent for most of the game here. It doesn't help Albany, of course, that Verse just went out, but
it's a good manageable play there on 1st and 20. You get 8 to make it to your second down and 12.
They're good situations to put Quincy in.
Ball is spotted at the Albany 46. Clock running as we're near the halfway mark of the third quarter. This is Tamarick Williams. Williams can't go anywhere there. He's brought down from behind. Great defensive play from Anthony Lang, who came up there and dragged Williams down.
Stopping the play by number 9.
He's an intriguing player. You see Sundell pulled here. It's hard for a center to pull. You can tell we have a lot of confidence in him. They just ran him down from behind. Nice athletic play.
Williams was telling briefly here, obviously a Dallas kid, didn't think he was getting the kind of opportunities he thought he earned at SMU, decided to transfer, and North Dakota State is where he ended up. Loss of a yard on that play makes it a 3rd down and 13. Patterson with time goes over the middle. That's hauled in by Watson. He's going to be short, though, of the first down. He's hauled down at the 36-yard line. Got 11, needed 13, and it's going to be 4th down and short. And from this spot on the field, looks like Manitz is going to keep his offense out there.
4th and 2 for the Bison.
Just continue to be impressed by Quincy's confidence. Standing in the pocket. Has a lot of faith in those Rams, and the pass pro is excellent there.
Patterson now up to 11 of 15 on the day. Here we go with a 4th down and 2 for the Bison from the Albany 36. Kobe Johnson forces his way forward, and he looks like he's got the first down. Johnson, who added some muscle in the offseason after dealing with that knee injury, lowered his head and got the extra yards, and a Bison first down.
That's a nice piece of hard running by Kobe right there. You're right. He did put on some muscle. You can see it when you see him without his pads. Ran hard there. The extra effort made all the difference.
Patterson, you see his stat line so far on the day. 10 of 14, 85 yards, and the touch to Josh Babbage on a first down. Here's Jalen Bussey trying to use that great speed. Somehow got to the outside when he had no angle. Very rarely does he get any negative plays. He turns something there into a positive gain.
So earlier I was comparing him to other running backs, but man.
There is no comparison,
There isn't,
right?
is there? You're right. He's just got a burst that nobody else has. It's hard to figure out who's going to get the carries, you know. We got so many different types. Yeah, there was.
He picked up 6 yards before he was knocked out of bounds. Bison offense up to 243 total yards on the day, 158 on the ground, and a 2nd down and 4. Patterson waiting under pressure, shakes off the defender, still on his feet, eludes another one. Then finally brought down by A.J. Missler. There were about 4 Great Dane defenders that had him dead to rights and couldn't get him.
Just sheer strength.
This Mason Walker had him. Watch this. This should have been a sack.
I don't know how he got out of that. That's just sheer strength.
He turned that into a 2-yard gain.
And he's just so composed.
Correction, he lost a yard after all that, but still, that went from a really negative play to not so bad after losing a yard. It's a 3rd down and 5 at the 28. And a whistle here. Delay of game.
Offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
So back in the Carson Wentz, Easton Stick era, they were perfect in terms of running that clock down to 1. And I like to see Quincy pushing it because we've got, again, I keep harping on this, but we've got to win the time of possession, and that's one of the ways that we always did it. When Craig and Chris were here, they'd bring that play clock down to 1. And it made people uneasy, but that's one of the ways you win the time of possession battle.
It's an art, isn't it?
It is.
3rd down and 10 from the 33. Patterson will keep it this time. Not much room there. Immediately brought down. Joe Casal comes in there for the tackle. And it'll bring up 4th down.
That's just a nice play by their linebacker. He's one-on-one there. That's a tough tackle.
It's a good one.
Sure is.
And a promising Bison drive gets stymied here at the 33-yard line, and Jake Reinholds will come in. Shanley kid, senior, to attempt, which will be roughly a 51-yard field goal attempt. Reinholds has got a monster leg, all-time scoring leader in North Dakota history in soccer.
Wow, really?
This would be quite the boot. It is up and no good. Wide to the left. And the score will remain at 21-6 in favor of the Bison. He had the leg, just a little wide.
I give him credit for giving him the chance. You know, they're gonna ask him to do that a few times this year. Let him go for it. We may not be kicking 52-yarders, but this will give him confidence when he's kicking from 47.
Reinholds, who missed a majority of the 2019 season after scoring on a two-point play in the opening game at Target Field, came back for the national championship game and then did majority of the kicking in the spring. So Albany takes over at its own 35-yard line. Dodged a bullet there. It's 21-6 here with 3.5 remaining in the third. Under Kuffler.
There we go.
Down he goes. That's a fumble, and it's picked up by Mostart. And the Bison recover it.
It's my guy, Tony Pierce.
Pierce exploded off the edge.
Recovered by North Dakota State.
Boy, he just blew through to force the fumble.
Had a little stunt on the other end of the line, but he just used his athleticism. What a play.
The third turnover of the day for Albany.
Previous play is under further review.
They're going to review this here to see. No, if they're going to think he was trying to throw the ball.
Okay.
I mean, you see, and you've talked about this off the top of our show. We talked about it in our pregame as well. Tony Pierce has been a player for the last couple of years, waiting for his turn, waiting to get some more reps. And, man, you can see he had a star turn against Illinois State in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Just his ability to get to the quarterback there.
You know, I looked at his stats in the offseason, and he had pretty nice stats from last year, but it just felt like, I know he's got more in him. I know he's got more in him. This is exactly what we need to see out of him. Excellent. Excellent rush.
I think that Undercuffler was going forward with his arm there.
I didn't see it. Did you see?
Watching it again, it didn't seem it to me. We'll get another look.
Boy,
it looks like Pierce got him, and he was just trying to. I don't think that's a pass, but let's see.
I don't think so either.
After further review, the quarterback had firm control of the ball, and his arm was going forward. I rule it's an incomplete pass. The second
so we're 0 for 2 on that.
I guess so.
So it's ruled an incomplete pass.
Yes, his arm was going forward, but he was no longer trying to throw it at that point. He was trying to maintain possession at that point.
I wouldn't mind one more look at that. Either way, Albany will maintain possession, so far they're 2-0 in big-time reviews. Here's again another look.
See, he's just trying to hang on to it.
To me, it did not look like the arm was going forward there. Either way, it's an incomplete. Delayed handoff to Mofor. That's his best run, maybe of the day. He gets out to the 39-yard line.
Nice play, I think, by Costner there. Came off his block. That's a tough play by him. Watch how Costner just shifts. That's strength right there.
So after the incomplete pass, a gain of 4. It's now 3rd and 6 from the 38.
Looks like we might bring heat. May check out of it.
Bison crowd.
That's the running quarterback, isn't it?
No, that's
no, it is.
coupler
Okay.
in there. He wants to go down the sideline, but miscommunication there, trying to hook up with Oda Koven. It's incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. So the Bison defense holds there after they thought they forced a turnover.
He's a little quick-footed there, wasn't he? You could tell. All right, now we've gotten to him a couple of times.
After the most recent time there when Pierce got to him, it's hard not to be that way.
It just looked like I don't know if panic's the right word, but he forced it a little bit early there.
4th down, they brought the heat on Rawls. He's able to get it away. Fair catch was signaled there by Price. And the Bison will take over at their own 14-yard line, up 21-6. The only points coming on the first play of the second half. A Dom Ganella 75-yard touchdown run down the sideline.
It'll be interesting to see how Coach Roll digs into the playbook at this point now. You got to be thinking a little bit ahead. How our team's going to scout us. What tendencies have we demonstrated so far in this game, and how can we try to change that?
Ganella back in there on 1st down. Bell handed off to him. Slithered his way out to about the 20-yard line. Maybe got one there on 1st down. With all the guys back, this is still a really young football team. You look at it, yes, there are plenty of seniors and juniors in the 2 deep, but over 75% of this team is either redshirt freshmen or sophomores. And again, the eligibility piece is still up in question, obviously, Sean, because everybody still got a free year, so to speak, after COVID from last year. As there's a completed pass, to Watson, who spins away, did that so frequently in 2019. And is able to get out of bounds on a 1st down. He does that so well.
To continue that thought, you've heard the coaches on both sides of the ball talk about how important it is to get some of these younger guys some meaningful reps, those redshirt freshmen and sophomores. On defense especially, they're talking about linebackers. We got to get these guys in games in meaningful situations. So they're very cognizant of the fact that they're young.
Ball is spotted at the 38-yard line. 1st down and 10. After an 18-yard pass play to Christian Watson. Ganella falling forward out to the 41 and a gain of 3.
Nice penetration there by their D lineman, number 8.
You sensed it right away. The first game of the spring last year, Ganella against Youngstown State ran, and he got basically decleated by a Youngstown linebacker. And I remember asking him the following week, saying, what was that like? He said, well, I know I can't be running like I did in high school, but he ran consistently hard, is my point, throughout the spring. And you've seen that carry over, obviously, with a couple touchdowns here today.
It's hard to pinpoint his style also. You know, he runs hard. He's strong. Is he a burner? Is he an inside guy? He can kind of do it all.
Here's Kobe Johnson. We know what he can do. He's a burner, and he's got a 1st down. Out close to the midfield stripe, and a gain of 9. And a Bison 1st down. And that NDSU offensive line doing what they do so well, starting to wear on the Albany D-line. First, good to see back in the game, by the way.
Again, Kobe, it's interesting how frequently they're using him in between the tackles. And they obviously have confidence in the fact that he hit the weight room really hard in the offseason. He's been productive inside the tackles.
The horn sounds to end the 3rd quarter. At the end of 3, North Dakota State leads Albany 21-6. The 4th quarter is coming up. You're watching Bison football live on WDAY.
Logan Campbell, WDAY News.
Back here for the 4th quarter. That first play, a pass completion to Raja Nelson, who's knocked out of bounds. Nelson, they were hoping to get more involved in the offense here in 2021, and a couple plays targeted for him, and there he's able to pick up a 1st down.
As the game has progressed, I'm really pleased with how they're incorporating these short pass plays, trying to get Quincy comfortable. I like what they're doing so far.
Ball spotted now at the 38-yard line. On a first down and 10. Patterson continues to look more comfortable as the game goes along. And look at Kobe Johnson shedding tacklers, still on his feet with a stiff arm. Johnson knocked out of bounds.
Number 4.
Inside the 20-yard line of the 19. It's a gain of 19 for the Lawrenceville, Georgia native.
I'm just looking at Kobe's 5'9". He's now up to 188.
Yeah. Burst on the scene as a true freshman in 2019. Impressed in numerous games. Youngstown State, a long kickoff return touchdown. Follow up with a long rushing touchdown. Hoping to build off of that here in 2021. Bison in the red zone here with a first down and 10. Go back to Ganella. Right up the gut, running hard. That was just an easy 5 yards there before he finally got knocked down.
Ganella has really good vision. He
really late penalty flag thrown in here. Well after the whistle.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 67, taunting. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The down counts. The second down.
That, you know, is going to drive the Bison coaching staff crazy. The foul was on Volson.
Cordell's an emotional player. He plays with fire.
That is number 67's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
He knows that he's coming off the field. He knows he's going to get an earful. So you love that fire, but boy, you can't afford that.
Especially because A, the 15-yarder, and B, the down counts. As it backs NDSU up to the 28-yard line here. So it's a second down and 19 now from the Albany 28. Ganella finds the outside. Ganella trying to get it all back. Knocked out of bounds, running hard. What a debut for him here in 2021. Gets all the way down to the 17-yard line and picked up 11.
I'm so impressed with his vision. He sees plays unfolding very quickly and makes a decisive choice on his gap immediately, and he just runs hard through it.
Out of Bloomingdale High School in Florida, now has a former teammate of his on the Bison, Britton Pascoe, out of Bloomingdale as well. Emerging Florida powerhouse there. Just that pipeline has continued. And we got a timeout taken here by Albany on a third down play. Coming up here with 12:27 remaining in the ball game. Timeout. Bison up 21-6. A big third down play is coming up when you come back. Back here at Gate City Bank Field of the Fargo Dome, a third down play coming up for the Bison up 21-6. Reminder, be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. 3rd and 8 from the Albany 17-yard line. After that big run by Ganella, got 11 after the penalty. Patterson keeps it himself. Quincy Patterson makes a man miss. He's got a first down inside the 5-yard line. That's how electric he can be with his legs.
You know, the thing about him, when you watch him, he doesn't look like he's moving fast. That's how you know he's that athletic, because it's so simple for him. He's just so big, so strong, and moves so well.
That was a gain of 13 on the run. That's what he brings to the table. Just so hard to defend. As Matt Ed said, we want to make teams defend the whole field. They just did that on that play. Here's a first down and goal from the 4. Johnson on the carry, makes a man miss. That can't get the second one to miss. He was slowed up and then brought down by Devontae Ford.
Kobe with some good strength making that first guy miss. They had everybody in the box. They had Mr. Verse out there.
A loss of 1 makes it a second down and goal now from the 5.
Be interesting to see what we pull out of
out of the hat here in the playbook. We've been well inside the red zone so far today.
Play action here. Patterson down as the ball is loose at the fumble, and it looks like the Great Danes got it. Damon Burton came in there and blew it up and forced the fumble, and it's recovered by Albany. Ibn Foster is on it, and what a play by the Albany defense. That's Burton coming in.
He just had an outside blitz. We were a little late picking it up, didn't see it.
And a huge turnover there. Bison were knocking on the door, at least hoping to get some points out of it. And instead it's a fumble, and Albany takes over.
We hang on to the ball there, we score, it's game over, Tom. You know, and we're putting in our backups. Instead, we're going to have to defend here.
So now the Great Danes take over at their own 10. High snap there as Carino's in the game. Hands that off to Mofor, who's able to spin his way out to about the 12-yard line before Darrett brought him down.
Nice play by Darrett. They're not giving up on Mofor, are they?
You got to do what's so successful for your offense.
Yep. Nice athletic play there by Darrett.
High hopes for that young man who's played the last couple of years, really starting to come into his own. Gain of 2 makes it 2nd down and 8. Under Kuffler, under trouble, and Thomas gets to him. The pride of Bismarck, North Dakota, Braden Thomas. The transfer from Mankato came up so big last year.
Boy, he had that tackle on his heels, didn't he? And he just shifted inside and came in with his speed. What a play.
Thomas and Mostard last year at Northern Iowa had back-to-back plays where they drove back Will McIlvain of the Panther offense about 20 yards.
I like his energy, too.
Yes.
He brings a lot of energy to this defense.
Crowd roaring here on a 3rd down and 15 from the 5.
3-man front.
Under Kuffler, airs it out. That's intercepted. That's picked off. That's Destin Talbert with the pick. His first career interception.
Good for Destin.
Talbert on an underthrown ball gets in front of that one to pick it off.
Dom Jones with a real nice job over the top. Forced Under Kuffler to throw it there. He knew he couldn't lead him too far because he had Dom over the top.
How about this there, Sean, defensive guy that you are? That's the 4th forced turnover by the Bison defense today.
And again, another situation where I've been complaining about turnovers or complaining about time of possession, and here we go.
Earlier fumble.
That's right.
The handoff to Kobe Johnson. Straightforward here. Talbert, who played as a true freshman way back in 2018. And has been mostly special teams. He got inserted into the starting lineup last year when Josh Hayes left to transfer to Virginia, and comes up with his first career pick. Because we've got an injured Albany player here. We'll take a timeout. 8:59 to go in the ball game. The Bison lead this 21-6.
Junior running back Kobe Johnson is switching up his number from 24 to 4. And that number 4 represents his sister and 2 of his brothers on his dad's side. And Dom, Kobe said that bringing that family-oriented mindset to game day is an important aspect of his game.
Back here live as Patterson takes that on 2nd down, runs out of bounds. The injured player was DJ McConnell, was able to get off under his own power for Albany.
We relied so heavily on the quarterback run last spring. It's hard to do that, though, when you can't stretch the field. Quincy's done a really nice job getting the ball down the field when he had to, and as a result, we're able to do this effectively. Again, it looks so effortless for him, doesn't it?
3rd and 1.
3rd down and 1 from the Albany 19. Handoff to Ganella, bounces inside, drives forward, and he's got the first down as he gets out to the 16-yard line and a gain of 3.
On the carry, that's another Bison!
Nice little surge there by the Rams. It's nice in this kind of situation to have to put the Rams in a tough spot and say, look, it's 3rd down. We need you to get us a first down, because that's going to be happening all year long in the Missouri Valley.
Ganella now 13 carries for $135 and 2 touchdowns. As you look at our First Western Bank down and distance, it's 1st down and 10 at the 16. They go up the middle. Johnson drives his way forward. And behind the play there, Henderson was involved in the secondary. There's a late penalty flag thrown. It looked like Henderson was in there with Larry Walker Jr. And a penalty flag was thrown.
Unsportsmanlike.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, non-football act, defense number 7. Penalties half the distance to goal, automatic first down. That's number 7's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
We were talking about this earlier. The penalties really starting to rack up here for both teams, frankly.
Yeah, you know, it's your first game. You're gonna make some mistakes. Things like that, though, those mental errors, you can't have those. And Albany's coaching staff's gonna be pretty frustrated.
So it's inside the 7 on the outside. That's Hunter Lipke in for a touchdown. Bison. Hunter Lipke with his first score of 2021.
A creative way to get Hunter the football. He's got to be a big part of our offense. We just got to figure out how to get him the ball. So, credit to Coach Roll for coming up with a play like this.
7-yard touchdown for the Wisconsin native, who had a huge spring, had 6 touchdowns. Look at that huge game against UND. Reynolds with the extra point is up and good. And with 7:10 remaining in the 4th quarter, the Bison now lead this game 28-6.
Media, timeout.
We'll take a break here. Bison in control after this Hunter Lipke touchdown. They lead it 28-6.
Deep to receive for the Great Danes.
Look at our Gate City Bank scoring recap after the Destin Talbert pick. 5 plays, 28 yards. Results in a Hunter Lipke 7-yard touchdown run. And the Bison have extended their lead down to 28-6 over this Albany team. Steindorf will do the kicking that time. Good tackle. Talbert in there. He's always been a special teams dynamo as he brings on the tackle down there to Gray.
He really has. He sort of embodies Bison pride, right? You know, he started for a while, taking off that starting role, but here he is making a tackle after he just made a pick, making a tackle on a kickoff team. Our special teams, by the way, have been pretty strong today, I think.
That's just a continuing theme of what happened last spring. Heck, you could maybe name former punter Garrett Wagner as the MVP of the spring last year, Sean. And obviously that game at Sam Houston, the Bison got back into it because of unbelievable special teams. They had a chance to win that game when their offense couldn't do anything last May. Mofor on the carry. We'll get this out to about the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
That's another one of those areas where Coach Entz really keeps teams guessing. You never know what he's going to do. He might fake something. He might bring a block when you don't expect it. So I give him a lot of credit for that. He really puts a big emphasis on special teams, and it's showing.
Coming up, we'll select the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game. That's coming up. We wrap things up here. Opening day 2021. The Bison will be back at home next week. Valparaiso will be here, which connects to the very first Division I football game for the Bison. Valpo was here in 2004.
Charge timeout, Albany.
As the Great Danes have just spent their final timeout. We'll take it with them. 6:21 to go in the ball game. The Bison in control. They lead this game 28-6. Back here, 6:21 remaining in the ball game. Albany trailing North Dakota State 28-6. On a 2nd down and 6 play coming here for the Great Danes. This pass to the outside, hauled in that time from Jose Lopez. Getting his first reception, backup running back for the Great Danes. I'm intrigued to see how their season unfolds, Sean, after today. Obviously, this is a huge challenge here. They're going to have a conference game next week with Rhode Island. That's a big rivalry game. Then they have, we mentioned, they play an FBS team in Syracuse. That's a big-time game for them. They play Delaware. They play Villanova in the CAA. They're going to play Towson, who the Bison are going to see in a couple weeks. They do not play James Madison, which might be the one bonus of going through this schedule. I am really intrigued to see what happens this season with this team.
You're right. Undercuffler is legitimate. He is good, but do they have the toughness to beat some of those tougher CAA teams? I don't know the answer to that.
Down he goes here. Mostart again in there. Who's had a monster game. Spencer Wagee in there as well.
He's got a bright future, doesn't he? That kid's impressive.
Thomas in there too. Another crunching play for both those guys. Mostart today, 3 tackles, sack and a half on the day. Just the start, I think, of a big-time 2021 for that young man. Great Danes will have to punt it away here. Price will field this at the 40. Shakes off a man, makes a nice move, and he's still on his feet. Jaden Price past the 40. Still on his feet. Price down the sideline for a touchdown.
Looks like it might come back. Price, he's something else to watch.
Looks like he may have stepped out of bounds. There is a penalty flag as well, all the way back at the 48-yard line.
That's unfortunate.
It's too bad because he's just electric on these specific kind of plays.
Return, illegal block in the back. Number 31.
He's so fearless. Yeah, it's blocking the back. It's coming back, but
North Dakota State keeps the ball.
He's so fearless. Just, watching him on tape has to be difficult for opposing teams, feeling like we got to prepare for this guy.
Wisniewski was the one on the guilty party, but that's another weapon they have in the return game. Let alone what they have in the kick return game with Christian Watson there, which I don't know if anybody's going to kick him the ball this entire season. I don't know if you want to punt to that guy.
You think about what we do on special teams. Teams are going to really have to spend some time in practice. That's practice time that they don't have focusing on our special teams. That's really helpful.
Cam Miller is coming to the game. Sophomore from Solon, Iowa, of course, who started the 2 FCS playoff games a year ago. The handoff here to Jalen Bussey. Gets out to the 46-yard line. I talked to Cam a couple times during fall camp, just asking about the competition. Said Quincy and I have become nearly best friends. When Patterson got here on campus, made sure we became pretty tight. I'm going to support him in any way, and I know that would happen vice versa. And that clearly has happened. I know he was disappointed that he wasn't going to be the guy, but this is a valuable player, Sean, that he's started games. He's been in there and not only games, playoff games. He's
won playoff games for us. That's right. And to the person, everybody I've talked to has just said he's handled this with the utmost class. And he's a true Bison. Those are the kind of guys we need.
There's a gain of 4. Miller will throw to the outside. That one hauled in by DJ Hart. His first career reception. Redshirt freshman out of Georgia. Bison coaching staff has high hopes for this young man. Believe he can get a little confidence and then look out. Another recruit out of the state of Georgia. That NDSU now has certainly opened up. It's basically in that southeast corner. Obviously, Florida has been a gold mine, and Georgia is starting to turn into that with Dom Jones there. Obviously, Kobe Johnson there, and they believe this young man can come in and be a big-time contributor for them.
We continue to find these guys. He looks like Sproles, doesn't he? And Sproles feels like he's been here forever, but we continue to find guys like him.
Tamarick Williams gets the carry here on 3rd and 1. Buries his way forward out to the 45-yard line and picks up a Bison first down as we tick under 3 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Interested to see as well as things play out. We talked about in our pregame show this morning with obviously the attention Bison fans I know were watching last night what South Dakota State did, and there's no way you can't. Sean, that was a thoroughly dominant performance that Bison wanted to come out here today. Granted, it's not against an FBS team, but show that they're ready to rock, and I think they've done that here in 2021.
Agreed. I think mission accomplished here today. It's not perfect, right? We can get better. South Dakota State looked very good. And
Miller completes this one. Out to Raja Nelson, who comes up with his second reception. Good throw there from Cam. Out to the 36-yard line.
But we just got to build on this, right? We got to get better next week. Coach Hager used to always talk about the most improvement you make is between your first game and your second game. We just got to keep improving. Workman-like performances, and we'll just keep getting better. Keep chopping away.
Announced attendance today was 15,156 here inside Gate City Bank Field. 2nd down and 1. As we click under a minute 45 in this one. Back to Tamarick Williams, who just gets tripped up at the last second. Tyler Carswell was the only man to save a Williams touchdown.
You know, I've watched a little bit of film on this guy. He's got talent. So it's nice to see him get some reps here.
Carswell was the last man standing there.
You can just see him. He's powerful. He's got a lot of explosiveness. Cam is going to be an important part of the team. He just is, and it's going to be interesting to see if or how we have to use him this year, or we do use him. Maybe picks up a different position at some point. He's just so athletic.
Good tackle there. Elijah Hills comes in to bring Williams down. So we're under a minute remaining now.
I know we'll name a player of the game. I do want to say that our defensive line, I was incredibly impressed with how they played today. Defensive ends put a lot of heat on the quarterback. Eli introduced himself to Bison Nation here. Just really pleased with how the defensive line played.
Throwing here with 20 seconds remaining. Miller to the air, tipped away, looking for Stuffle near the goal line. That was Walker able to knock it away.
Number 58 for the defense lost his helmet. Must leave the game for one play.
Trying to find that into a tight window there. They have high hopes as well, the Bison coaches do, on Joe Stuffle, who's wearing an important number in Bison history at the tight end position, 82. Ben Ellefson's old number. Newest member of the Minnesota Vikings.
That's right. That's right. Same thing with tight ends. We just continue to find these guys, and he's another one. Just looks really good.
Handoff here to Williams. Still on his feet, finally brought down by a host of Great Dane tacklers, and that will be the final play in this one as North Dakota State opens up the fall 2021 season with an impressive win thanks to the running of Dom Ganella. The Bison knock off Albany here. 28-6 is the final.
Great opening win after a difficult spring. Just an important win.
Patterson finishes 12 of 16 for 115 yards and a touchdown. What a day, though, for sophomore Dom Ganella. 13 carries, 135 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the last 2 games he's played in this building, he scored 4 touchdowns. He is becoming the guy at running back.
He really is. And, you know, We talk about what is it about Dom? He does everything, doesn't he? He's strong. He can run inside between the tackles hard. He's got a nice burst. He's got great vision.
Our Nodak Insurance player of the game, 13 carries for $135. That 75-yard run on the first play from scrimmage to start the second half set the tone, and should not go underestimated as well, Sean, is what the Bison defense did today. We'll talk plenty about what their offense did, but defensively, the Bison were very impressive here today.
They were. We faced one of the best running backs in the country, supposedly. They had 22 yards rushing today. Yeah, that's an impressive outing.
Yeah, I don't know if you would have expected that coming into this game.
I would.
But Albany, Mulform held 11 carries for 21 yards on the day. Undercuffler finishes 16 of 28 for $183, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Weber and Talbert. The Bison forced 4 turnovers.
That's huge. You've got to be opportunistic. I know Coach Entz was upset about that in the offseason. 4 takeaways. That's huge. Undercuffler is as advertised. 2 picks.
Let's go down to the field. Logan Campbell standing by with head coach Matt Entz.
Thanks, Dom. Coach, coming out of halftime, you guys hit the ground running. What was your message to the team?
Just do what we do. Be Bison. All the things that we practice, the situations, all those things, execution, consistency. Did a nice job. Yeah, when you hit the first play for a long touchdown, got things going. It improved. Too many penalties still. We can clean some things up. We'll continue to get better.
Quincy Patterson's first start, how do you think he did?
Did a good job of getting the balls to receivers. He got the ball out of his hands quick. Probably a couple times held on to it a little bit too long, but you know what? That's first game situation. We'll continue to coach the heck out of him all week long.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win. Don, back to you.
Thanks, Logan. I'm looking right now on the far sideline and seeing Greg Gattuso meeting. He's got his entire team out there discussing, I'm sure, probably not thrilled how his team played today, but he wanted to take something out of this performance. I'm not sure what he'll take out of today.
You know, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of things to look at on the tape, and they're not going to feel great about. But on the other hand, you came into North Dakota State, the Fargo Dome, you put up not a lot of points, but you played a good first half at the very least. That's saying something. They got a long road ahead of them. They got to do something to build off of this. I've been impressed with him as a coach. I trust what he's doing. I don't know how they're going to end up, but I wish them well.
Be interesting to see how their season goes. We mentioned they have another biggie in a couple weeks at Syracuse before they get into the meat of the Colonial schedule from there. I'm intrigued your thoughts on how you saw Quincy Patterson play today. His final numbers, 12 of 16, 115 yards, a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Obviously, he had the fumble as well.
Sure. You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what other folks are expecting. I wanted him to come in here and command the game, and I feel like he did that. To me, it was going to be more of a visceral reaction. Does he feel like he's the right fit? I do think that he is. He made some really nice throws, played with a ton of confidence. He's athletic, as we all knew that he was, incredibly explosive. But he's making good decisions, and he's throwing good balls. I think he did what we need him to do. Our offensive line needs him to perform so that they can run the ball. I think he did that today.
You're looking at Jeff Undercuffler, the Albany QB. Finished the day 16 of 27, 183 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Tough day for him. He knew a couple picks, He knew he was going to have a long day in the Bison defensive line. After initially not getting to him, that started to happen right before the end of the first half, and boy, they got after him in the second half.
They did. I think initially we thought we're going to have to throw some linebacker blitzes at him. That just wasn't working. And so we went with some stunts inside. Then after that, it was just our defensive ends getting after him with speed rushes. Again, really impressed with how our defensive line played. Really happy. They're going to have to perform well in the Missouri Valley for us to be successful.
So Ganella leads the team in rushing, 13 carries for 135 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Kobe Johnson goes 11 carries for 77 yards. Nice return for him back into the lineup. Christian Watson ends up leads the team in receiving, 4 catches for 37 yards. Raja Nelson had 3 for 27 yards. Nearly topped his whole receiving from all of last season. Obviously, Josh Babbage had the touchdown reception there late in the first half. I was interested to see, too, how the momentum swung there on the two big plays, one right before the half on the Albany touchdown that was controversial in its own right, and then the Bison come out on the first play and they score a long touchdown.
That's right. You know, and after the spring, I've talked about this a lot with people, that I just don't feel like we had an identity last spring. And so we had to face adversity. How are we going to react to it? Not only Quincy, how is he going to react to adversity, but the team, the whole team. And I think they demonstrated that. They came out after that turnaround in the first half. They came out and they scored right away. So I think that's important confidence builders for the entire team to come back and answer like that.
28-6, Bison win. Much more post-game reaction coming up here from Gate City Bank Field of the Dome. A 28-6 Bison win over Albany as they win at home for the 23rd consecutive time to open up a season. That streak continues since 1998. Bison have not lost a home opener that was in Emporia State. There have been some close ones. Charleston Southern came in here a couple years ago and took the Bison to overtime. Ironically enough, the first ever overtime game in the history of this building. And now we'll get set for another non-conference opponent. Valparaiso will come here next week out of the Pioneer League. I was mentioning earlier, Valpo was the very first opponent that the Bison played as a Division I team in 2004. So a little reconnection there. And you know the old adage is, you know this, the biggest improvement comes from week 1 to week 2. What in your mind is there? What is there for the biggest improvement to go from this game to next Saturday?
Well, I think some of the, obviously the penalties, that's something your coach is going to harp on, the penalties. I think in the first half, there were times when our offensive line, had a few missteps here or there. I think they played a great game. They're going to have a few things that they can look at, though. In that first half, we gave up a sack here, had a couple tough drives where we couldn't make things happen. Also in the first half, I thought our defense was having a tough time catching up or holding their or getting their breath with undercuffler. So we're going to have to figure out, when we play these teams that come out of the shotgun and have quick releases, how are we going to disrupt that quarterback? We finally figured it out second half, but we got to figure that out.
I thought defensive line-wise, we talked about Mostart. Your guy, Tony Pierce, was really impressive, too. And that's something you looked at it. NDSU wanted to rotate nearly 10 guys. They did that in spades today. There were a bunch of guys who were playing up front on the Bison defensive line.
They did. They did. They rotated a lot of guys. I saw a lot of young guys, even at linebacker, coming in, which you didn't see last year. Those senior linebackers we have now, they played almost the whole season without coming out. So they're really making a concerted effort to get younger guys in there. You're right at the D-line. I think we were just a little bit, maybe a half a step slow in some games at D-line last year. Just explosive off the D-line today, and we got faster as the game progressed. Tony Pierce is a great example of that.
Mostart came obviously up with a big game. Braden Thomas did as well. And I look on the back end, we talked about it early off the top. Courtney Eubanks ends up finishing with a pretty good game defensively as he's taken over now at the defensive at cornerback spot, finished with 5 tackles. Theoretically, you had that fumble recovery in the end zone as they ruled it a touchdown, but that young man looked like he's ready to assert himself and maybe be that shutdown corner that the Bison have just feasted on over the last few years.
That's right. And, I think we're going to see other teams test him, and people are going to continue to try to test him early, at least in the first few games. But I was really impressed with what he did. Not only in pass coverage, but his leverages and run defense. It feels like he's really picked up the game from a mental perspective as well. But just really impressed with what he did here today. I think you're right, Dom. I think he's going to turn out to be our lockdown guy.
Look at the scoring in this game. It started off Dom Cannella late in the first quarter with that set 3-yard touchdown run to make it a 7-0 Bison lead. They added to it here. Quincy Patterson with a strike, 18 yards to Josh Babbage right before the half. And we thought that was going to be the score until this happened. Undercuffler connected on this pass to Roy Alexander for a 67-yard score. We'll still call it that as the referees ruled it that. It was close, that it could have been a fumble. It was 14-6 going to the halftime locker room. And then right after that, Sean, this was the play of the day for Cannella.
And again, his vision, his strength, it just, he kind of has it all, doesn't he? Just an impressive play. But again, coming out of the locker room after that momentum shift, incredible play.
Hunter Lipke added in the salted away touchdown there from 7 yards out to make it 28-6. And that ends up being the final score. The Bison continue to have domination over the Colonial. That improves their overall mark to 9-1 against the other power conference in the FCS next to the Big Sky. They have handled those teams, whether obviously James Madison clearly is the team that's beaten North Dakota State, but Towson they've taken care of. New Hampshire, Delaware, they won twice in a home-and-home, and now they've taken care of this Albany team. We're going to see Towson in a couple weeks' time, which will be an interesting road trip for the Bison as they head out on the East Coast for that. But this is a big win looking way down the road toward November when you talk about playoff picture and you're talking power conference wins. That's a big one for the Bison. Logan Campbell is standing by with a Bison quarterback.
Thanks, Dom. Quincy, first game, first start in the Fargo Dome. How was it?
It just felt good to be, playing in front of fans. I was here in the spring, and it was probably, I think, 70% capacity or something like that. It's just good to see a lot of these seats full, them cheering us on and stuff like that. So
it was loud in here. Do you think that you fed off that energy?
Yeah, and I think more so the defense did. Especially right in the beginning. It's hard for offense to call plays when everybody's making noise, and then they had a couple penalties simply because the fans were so loud. So that's definitely a big plus.
You didn't have one guy that you specifically targeted. You spread the ball around. You had 6 different receivers with catches. How does it feel to have so many guys on this team that you can trust with the ball?
Well, obviously that's a great feeling, but just being in practice with those guys, you see them catch the ball all the time. You see them make plays, and then when we come out here, it just makes it that much easier for me to say, oh, I see Raj over here. I can throw him the ball. I don't just have to target Christian, So it's just good to have that feeling. So
thanks so much, Quincy. Congrats on your first win.
Thank you.
Back to you.
What do you make of what QP2 had to say as QB1 now?
I think Logan made a really nice point there that he really spread the ball around. A lot of times when you have a guy in his first start, he's going to pick one guy, maybe Christian or somebody like that, and he's going to rely on that person. It didn't seem like Quincy was ever in panicking or ever looking for one particular receiver. He was just letting the plays unfold, making his reads. And I thought he did a really nice job with his progressions, and he was so confident delivering the ball. So that was a great point, and I think he did that well.
Impressive night here to start off his Bison career. There was a ton of anticipation about how he was going to play, simply because we haven't seen him play. And to come out here, and granted, I know he's probably going to hate himself about that fumble, but overall, pretty solid day to start. Logan's downstairs now with the star of the game, and Dom Ganella.
Thanks, Dom. Okay, Dom was just telling me this is his first game in the actual dome. It was so loud in here. How was this game experience for you?
It was exciting, extremely exciting. Last year scoring a touchdown in here was crazy, but this year, I didn't even know what to do. It was like my blood was pumping like crazy. The student section was going wild. It was exciting.
Right out of the half, you had a 75-yard touchdown. What was going through your head while you're running down the field?
Just get in the end zone. I was racing Christian, and Christian's really fast, so I'd say I was just kind of following him. He made something happen, and I tried to get in the end zone.
How did you carry that momentum throughout the rest of the game?
I'd say it just kept building, try to stay consistent. The little things is the biggest thing, pressing blocks, just stay consistent on my track, and that helps me just stay consistent throughout the game.
You played baseball over summer. Do you think that had an effect on your game today?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's a completely different sport. I'd say when I got back here, just try to put as much work as I possibly could to speed things back up and build off of last year, and the coaches did really well helping me, so it was exciting.
Thank you so much for your time, Dom. Dom, back to you.
Popular name around these parts. Ganella goes for 135 and 2 as we look at our final stats in the game. You already mentioned it. The one that stands out to me and what the Bison defense and Matt Entz will love, 23 rushing yards against an Albany team that stouts one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, and under Cuffler, he did what he had to do. Initially, he had us on our heels. But again, their whole game plan is to have under Cuffler coming down the field, and then they hand it off to Mo 4. He picks up 10. He picks up 12. They really rely on that, and they were not able to do that today. So the fact that we're able to stop them and hold them to 23 yards, that's pretty impressive.
First downs as well. The Bison offense got it going. 2:59. that goes back to your playing days. They take that and that was just not evident in the spring, was the ability to run the football like that. They got it nearly to 260 yards today.
It was. And what happened is Quincy kind of took a little bit of the pressure off the offensive line, and we kept their defense honest. They weren't able to stack the box. And on the flip side, because we were able to run the football, that opened up some passing lanes for Quincy. So, it's important. They feed off of each other. But, yeah, you're right. I think the performance by the Rams, 259 yards, we'll take that every week.
28-6 win ends up going. So we're looking at some scores here from around the country as week one rolling on. North Dakota opened up its 2021, an impressive win. We talked about that in our pregame show, 35-14 at Idaho State today. Another game that everybody that is affiliated with Bison football interested in. Montana State leads Wyoming late in the fourth quarter, 16-12. It looks like it just gone final that the Bobcats, Brent Vieg in his debut, is going to beat the master and Craig Ball out in Laramie today. What a start for Vieg in Montana State.
That's huge. Vieg is my teammate, my classmate, my brother. So it was tough. It's tough to pick against Craig because I love Craig, but what a huge win for him and his program.
Well, that's the team. We saw them the last time they actually played a football game was here in the semifinals in 2019. The cover does not bear. That's a team that we didn't see them in the spring. Them and Montana both that we're waiting to see them back on the field. Boy, that's a heck of a way to come back in 2021.
That says a lot about Vieg getting them prepared to play.
An impressive start there for Montana State as they get a win. And we look at it. We talked about South Dakota State, and I'm looking at another game here early in the fourth quarter. Iowa State only up 13-10 on Northern Iowa, so they're hanging around there too.
I think people were picking Iowa State big. I knew that Farley would have them ready to go. I knew that he would. He always seems to come in and have his team ready to play early in the season. He just always does. So they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as well.
If that's a harbinger of what's to come in this FCS season, buckle up after we saw what last night with South Dakota State did. And obviously we had two FCS wins over FBS teams on Thursday night. Eastern Washington beating UNLV and UC Davis in their win over Tulsa. This will be fun. But this was great. Thanks for filling in for us this week.
Tom.
Appreciate it.
I had a blast.
Sean Fredericks, Bison Hall of Famer, filling in for us this week. That'll wrap it up here in game number one of this 2021 season. Our thanks to Logan Campbell, Sean Fredericks, our great technical crew putting together a football game for the first time on WDAY in 15 years. The final score in the game, North Dakota State 28, Albany 6. We'll see everybody next Saturday when Valpo comes to town.